1.
This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 1866, previews. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Ian Levinstein.
And I'm Adam Murdo.
The sonorous tones of and Adam Murdo.
I'm Adam Murdo.
Yeah. Extra.
Or Batman.
Yes. Oh boy. Well, welcome one and all to the show. We should knock on wood, and I have a wood dresser next to me, so I can actually do that. Here we go. We knock on wood. Be joined by Chris Eberly about a half hour, 45 minutes or so into previews. So he will be joining us then, which will be just in time for Shane to tag out. So excellent timing tonight, previews wise.
Yes, just pass that baton.
Exactly. Yep. But we are getting this to you. It's the 27th, but it's still September. And darn it, that means you can still put your orders in one way or the other at your shop or online. And we aim to please with that one and try to get you as many good picks as possible.
Yep.
Excellent. Now, before we get further along, Murd, do you have the ad copy ready?
Why, you mean this ad copy, Ian?
Excellent. Terrific. Shane, were you going to add something? Sorry.
Just we can do it after the ad quick.
Okay. No worries. Well, in that case, onward to Murd for a little sponsorship action.
I'll be delighted. This episode of Comic Geek Speak is sponsored by our old friend Eamon Clark and Mega City Book Club, the podcast all about the galaxy's greatest comics, or at least the British ones. And also by the podcast A Handful of Dust, in which Eamon and his daughter Jenny discuss Neil Gaiman's Sandman series, all the spin-offs, and now the Netflix TV series as well. It's the perfect accompaniment if you were doing your own reread of the collections as you watch along with the show. You may search for A Handful of Dust and Mega City Book Club in your podcast app, wherever you download your podcasts or stream them, or to go direct to the source, you can go to Handful of Dust, that's with one L, handfulofdust.blogspot.com.
Excellent. And Eamon is one of our most dedicated listeners, and we are very happy to spread the word on what he is up to.
Yep. He's helped us in so many ways. We need to help him out and as well. It's all reciprocal around here, after all.
Yep.
Most definitely.
And I can vouch for the quality of Mega City Book Club because I have been a guest on that, some 5.5 years ago now to talk about DR and Quinch.
Nice. And we know more about Mega City because we keep getting books from Eamon related to Mega City. So there we go. Terrific. Well, there we are with that. One more sponsor. Oh, yeah, there we go. The Essential Judge.
Yeah, mine. Oh, I just cleaned it up a little bit. It's over on the other pile. Down that way.
Is mine still here? Yep, mine's still here. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, here we go. There we go.
Ooh. Good sign that our shades haven't moved very far from where they were when we opened them.
Yeah, well, I've been away for a bit, and this was a last minute pivot over to the bedroom while Martha does her thing in the other room. So there we go. So, but yeah. Anyway, yes, thank you very much for Eamon, and of course, you, the listeners, over at Patreon.com. There's my camera this time around. Boop, 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 boop. Thank you very much for your continued support of the show in any way you can give it. All 116 of you hang in there on the Patreon, and we thank you so much for that continued support. If you're unable to do Patreon, we still accept old school donations over at comicgeekspeak.com/donate.php, and we also accept praise in the form of reviews. So if you want to send us an iTunes review or on any other platform you happen to be listening, please, by all means, or just spread the word on the show, and that's as good as anything else you can throw at us. So any way you can support us is a great way to support us, and we thank you for that support in any way you can give it. All right, Shane, what do you got?
So a couple weeks ago, I noticed, or I got an email, I can't remember which, that the DC shop had movie t-shirts.
Ooh, nice.
So this one's brand spanking new. As soon as
Very
it was
nice.
the 89 movie, I was like, oh my God, I used to have that shirt.
Which is funny because we literally just talked about Batman 89 in the show like
Yeah.
today. So go figure.
And then my son saw it and he's like, well, I want one. So I got one for Ben. And then he saw the, what was it, Batman Forever one with the Riddler symbol. And he kind of likes the Riddler. He's like, I want that one too. So I got him a sweatshirt too. So that was pretty cool.
Very nice.
They just came the other day. I'm like, first chance I get that's going on the show. Nice and shiny new. And it's got the word Batman in the movie typeset on the back. Like
That's
I
awesome.
had that shirt in 89.
And now you got it in 2022.
That's right. All right.
All right.
And then the other thing I just saw maybe 20 minutes before we started.
Mhm.
Did you see the Deadpool trailer?
I did. I'm less of a trailer, more
of a tease.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is official.
Holy cow.
Just for 2 seconds of comic talk here thrown in here. Any of you
Yeah.
who are spoiler averse, like pantaloons or anything like that, skip ahead like about a minute or two here.
Yeah.
It has to be said. Deadpool 3 has 3 claws. And Wolverine's back, baby. Hugh Jackman for one last turn
Unbelievable.
as Wolverine. Yep.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that'll be in the MCU, right?
We're not certain that his Wolverine is going to be in the MCU. I think that'll probably be
It's Marvel Studios. It's somewhere in the multiverse. It's probably not the main MCU.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Just because Ryan Reynolds said, with the MCU we're trying to, I'm like, what?
I mean, eventually Deadpool will be in the MCU. At least that's what they've been saying. So maybe by the end of this movie, through their shenanigans, he's gonna, pop in and stay around. But yes, it's gonna be interesting, and I'm all in for it. Yep.
Me too.
Not till 2024 on that one, by the way. So we got a long ways to go still, but
in a short time to get there.
But and then did you see John Krasinski caused a little bit of further stress on the internet?
No,
because he responded to the whole announcement that Ryan Reynolds made on Twitter with, "Hey, is that our movie?" And then everybody was like, wait, is Reed Richards going to be in it too? No, they're in a movie together called If that's coming out in 2023. He was poking a little bit of fun at the internet. So unless there's other, means around that, Steve Carell, Ryan Reynolds, and John Krasinski are in a movie called If, otherwise known as Imaginary Friends, which is also scheduled to come out in 2024.
As long as they don't throw a what in front of the if, and that's how they get in there.
And thanks. Now that you said it, it's gonna happen. Not that I have a problem with that in any way.
No, not at all.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, that's your little mini comic talk in there before we head to previews. But yes,
that was neat.
Thank you for attacking that now, because who knows when we're actually gonna get to it otherwise.
Right. I just oh my God, I just saw this like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, one last note for listeners. Not to spoil our own podcast, but those of you who have not listened to the previous episode and haven't put on your pants yet, you might want to check out an episode. It's not very short. It's about 2 hours long. Pants is back. So just go ahead and check that out if you're clamoring for further Brian Chrisman conversation with Shane and Brian and Peter all together in one Zoom room shooting the shit like old times.
Yep. Going from topic to topic.
Yes, it was really quite hypnotic.
Yep. In one droning voice, going from topic to topic. See, that's good. Star Trek fans know what I'm talking about.
Oh, most definitely. Yep. Haven't watched the last Lower Decks, by the way. I have to get
that. Oh, God, that show is just great. I love that show.
Here we are, baby. It's previews issue 408 for the month of September, and that means that these are books coming to you in November. Yes, that's a month. So we're getting closer and closer to the end of the year here.
Unbelievable.
It's very hard to believe, but yes, these are all books scheduled for release in November. Outside of the trades, those will probably be coming out later than that, as usual. All right, what do we have for us here?
Got to get through all the Felger carb in the beginning.
Oh, I know. There's always so much. Ah, yes. Beginning on page 32 with a return of I Hate Fairyland by the one and only Scotty Young on story and Brett Bean on art. I love I Hate Fairyland. I'm about halfway through the trade that I bought at last New York Comic Con, and it's a really well done zany fantasy romp that Scotty put together, and this is a return to that as Gert is all grown up and living in the real world. Times are tough, and the only job she's qualified for has her trying to find her way back to the place she hates the most, Fairyland. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Just when I thought I was out, I discover how horrifying the working world is, and I shove myself back in.
Yes, definitely. And I'll tell you, with Brett Bean in particular, very Jonan Vasquez Invader Zim-esque art.
That's what I kind of thought it looked like that.
Yeah, like very hyper stylized, yet animation centric, and also has a lot of that like edge that Jonan had specifically on Zim, all thrown in there art wise. So really liking what's coming from this, and I hope that the new series is at least half as good as the first, because the first was really damn good. All right, moving over to page 36. 2 graves, number 1. Not 1 grave, not 3 graves. 2 graves.
5 is right out.
Genevieve Valentine with art by Ming Doyle and Annie Wu on this one, as we focus on a character named Amelia in the horror fantasy genre of this season premiere. Amelia and the man with the veil of smoke have set out for the ocean in a stolen truck. There's a bloody handprint on his neck. She's beginning to worry it's hers. Death and the maiden go on a road trip. Nobody gets out alive. That is frightening. But very simple artwork this time around. Just lines on a page, and very realistic and simplified artwork in that style, but sure does get the point across, and spooky thanks to good coloring and shading as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Interested where that's going to go. The month after October, we still have horror.
It is always with us, it seems.
Yes, indeed. Yep. And then on page 40, Gospel number 1 by Will Morris. When opportunity refuses to knock for restless hero Matilda, the devil comes knocking instead. Thrust into action by the hellish arrival, Matilda and storyteller Pitt will quest for answers. Answers that threaten to tear them apart and trigger the toughest question of all. Who am I? Isn't that always the hardest question to answer, one way or the other?
Yep.
Cannot disagree.
Little Bird and Isola meets Nausicaa at the Valley of the Wind, which is high praise in this lush historical fantasy. Historical, hey, it might be up Chris's alley. Go figure.
Interesting new concept from Charles Soule and Will Sliney here.
Mm-hmm.
Hell to pay number 1. Tagline could be, paying back your student loans can be hell. Because apparently even people who go to wizard school have student loans to pay back, and in this reality, you do so by basically becoming hell's bounty hunters. And it's about a married couple of sorcerers who have gone to the Shrouded College for Sorcerers, and now they're paying off their debt by tracking down 666 cursed coins. The Devil's Dollar.
Nice.
Hellboy meets Indiana Jones, so reads the copy. It's, I like the premise.
I like the cut of that jib too. In general, yeah, this is going to be fun. What lush artwork too. I mean, the scape and the scope that's presented there. very cool. And I mean, any fan of Harry Potter would immediately dig the the castle setting and what have you. But every character really has such personality just oozing out of the page here from this preview page.
Yep. Will Sliney slipped a Tasmanian tiger into the art there at the top of page 43.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, this is cool, and I'm gonna have to check it out definitely because it's right up my alley for sure. All right, over to Doug Wagner on page 46, talking about some dark humor and horror and Jonan Vasquez-esque art. Or at least from that cover, I'd say that's the case here with Plush. Doug Wagner has said on story, and then Daniel Hilliard and Rico Renzi on the art chores. Unnatural meets the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in this dark comedy horror. And actually, it was Daniel Hilliard and Rico Renzi on the cover. It's just Doug Wagner all around on the story itself. But serial killing cannibalistic furries. That sounds like a convention I do not want to go to.
Indeed.
Yeah, I don't want to go to any part of that convention, in fact.
Yes.
Nope.
Stay away from the serial convention. Plastic and vinyl creators Doug Wagner and Daniel Hilliard are back. This time, they've recruited colorist extraordinaire Rico Renzi for their disturbing neon horror spin on fursuit psychopaths and bizarre love. Okay. For a certain sect, this is going to be great. And for everybody else, it's going to be creepy as heck. And maybe even for that first sect, it'll be creepy as heck. We shall see. But either way, page 46 and some preview artwork on 47 for you to check out for a very, very fascinating premise, 6-issue miniseries, Plush. Scrolling down to page 50 here. The Knight and the Lady of Play, a one-shot by the one and only Jonathan Luna, who returns with another one-shot illustrated in graphite. After a war with demons, Knight Signor Vincenzo is traveling home to his wife in Italy. In a swamp, he comes across a mysteriously hypnotic woman who tempts him to stay with her. It's a one-shot. It's by one of the Luna brothers. This is, I think, going to be a buy for me because this is right up my alley and one and done. So you can't get better than that. 32 pages on November 2nd.
And I like the idea of using graphite. I know Ben's been involved with some of his art classes with that over the last couple of years.
Very nice. Yep. Luna's a terrific artist, and I love seeing him play with the mediums a little bit.
I think Chris will look at page 52 as well.
You mean page 52?
Yeah, I wasn't going to scream it. That's not my thing.
No, that's perfectly fine. I've filled in for that, and I don't quite scream it like a certain someone else would.
Yeah.
Even when we were doing those episodes in 2006, Shane was the one chiming in afterwards with "still means nothing."
That's right.
Didn't hold out from the start.
Of course.
Still means nothing.
Soldier Stories. This is by a bevy of writers and creators here. 4 compelling tales of military conflict, all written by veterans who served.
Ooh.
Yeah. First-person accounts of real-life warfare, which have been reimagined across a variety of genres from sci-fi to horror to personal memoir, all written by veterans who served from the Vietnam era all the way to Afghanistan. This is really awesome.
Yeah.
I believe you're right, Shane. Chris probably will be interested in this.
Definitely. We'll have to bring it to his attention if he hasn't already earmarked it on the previews for himself.
And if you notice, one of the covers is by Billy Tucci as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then another one by Mark Silvestri.
Yeah. There was one, I can't remember if it was New York Con or Philly Con where maybe it was a Baltimore show where I met Billy Tucci and a group of veterans that he had when he wrote something for DC that was very good. Gosh, the title escapes me, but it was very good. I bought it and read it. I just can't remember the title at the moment. But that's neat that he's doing a cover for this as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if the name of that book comes to you, then let us know.
Yeah.
And I'll mention in passing here, since we have mentioned Philadelphia Times in the past, issue 25, milestone issue and a brand new story arc of Philadelphia kicks off on page 53. There's No Place Like Home, part 1. All right. Bitter Root Omnibus. Chris has put great praise on Bitter Root, and on page 56, if you're looking to catch yourself up, this omnibus hardcover collects 1 through 15 and the Bitter Root Red Summer special of this multiple Eisner Award-winning collaboration between David F. Walker and Chuck Brown, with art by Sanford Green. So this would be a very pretty way to get into Bitter Root if you have not already done so. As usually the case, this is an advanced solicit, so it will not be coming out in November. Just keep that in mind.
It might have been Sergeant Rock: The Lost Battalion.
Okay. That sounds right. Yeah, because I remember Tucci working on some Sergeant Rock stuff, so that could very well be the case. Yep. And then on the very next page, I Hate This Place, Volume 1 collects the 5 issues of Kyle Stark's story, all about a horror supernatural setting in which, inheriting a farmhouse, Trudy and Gabby are ready to start the next chapter of their lives together, except it's already home to a mysterious force that's attracted ghosts, aliens, and all kinds of supernatural beings for decades. That'll get in the way. If you want the first 5 issues of that tale, that's on page 57. All right. Mark Guggenheim's Too Dead to Die, a Simon Cross thriller. For any of you fans of the Simon Cross character, he returns here on page 61. Advanced Solicit yet again comes out on December 14th, but this does collect that entire arc with Mark Guggenheim and the one and only Howard Chaykin on the artwork. Always like to see that name.
Yeah. It's a nice cover.
Oh, it's a gorgeous cover. Yeah.
By Dave Johnson.
Yep. Although he certainly does look like he's channeling Chaykin at least a little bit, especially
a little bit
in the faces.
I see the influence.
Yep. Alrighty. Anything else of note in Image, gents?
Don't think so. I think there were only a couple of ongoing issues of things that I was going to buy from the rest of the book, or the rest of the Image section, I should say.
Yep, sounds good. And as previously noted on another previews, Saga is in very, very temporary reprieve. So Saga will be returning, I believe, come January. So once that previews comes along, the November previews, we should see the next issue of Saga solicited.
Okay.
Did not hear that news. You'd heard it now. I have that first trade coming to me in, I think, a week, if I remember correctly. The first return trade of Saga, that is. Cannot wait. All right, we move over to Boom.
Which is after Image now.
Yes, every single month, previews throws me a curveball.
I just can't get used to how all this is organized.
I know. There's no order anymore. There's no order.
Dogs and cats sleeping together, etc.
Yep.
Yes. But while dogs and cats are sleeping together, how about we behold a behemoth on page 92 of the 5-issue miniseries by Tate Bromble and Nick Robles. It's a brand new original series, perfect for fans of House of Slaughter and Gideon Falls. And it's described as House of Slaughter's Tate Bromble brings his first original series to Boom as let me make that text a little bit bigger because they decided to use a font that's impossible to read unless you make it bigger. Grayson's world is crumbling following his brother's sudden and mysterious death. His sleepless nights are haunted by vivid nightmares of a terrifying monster, pushing him to the brink of losing both his sanity and his job as a social worker. But he's truly shaken to the core when his newest case, a young orphan girl named Ren, is found at a scene of a brutal murder just hours after first meeting Grayson. So horror to say the least here on page 92. And Behold Behemoth, 5 issues to come. First issue for $4.99 before any sort of discounts for you on page 92. Excellent artwork on the following pages. Very painterly style working here. Ooh, wow, look at that splash page. And page 95, any of you following along, that is an image right there. Very nice. And then page 96, Jason Aaron putting out a work for Boom, Once Upon a Time at the End of the World, #1, with Alexandre Tefenki on the illustrations, and about 8 people on different variant covers. But we kick off a decades-spinning tale of survival in the wasteland by one of comics' greatest writers. Epic trilogy, each issue overflowing with 30 story pages, spans a lifetime as philosophical differences tear at the threads holding Maceo and Mezzi together. I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah, I like the font that they're using on the page 98.
Yes,
that they show it. It's
Yeah.
just gives it a little flair.
Definitely.
It's got kind of an 18th century typography feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An interesting choice for something set in the post-apocalyptic future.
Kind of like almost like creating a tale with that font.
Yeah.
Yep. Very nice. Character designs are pretty cool too. Very grounded, and yet you can certainly tell that it's an end of the world happened. Where do we go from there? We'll have to find out. And then, for you fans of Stranger Things and Stephen King, on page 100, 4-issue mini called Specs by David M. Booher and Chris Sheehan. A supernatural 80s throwback here. And the premise definitely is what happens when a couple of misfit teams mail order a pair of X-ray glasses and realize they've received much more than they bargained for. Yep, that's right. Any of you people who ordered the X-ray specs in the back of your comic, you've created doom.
Apparently, X-ray glasses grant wishes. If you read the copy a little further, who knew?
Yep. I certainly did not, and clearly I should have spent my money more on glasses. Oh well, so it goes. Interesting premise, and then page 102, Berserker Immortal Pack by the one and only Keanu frickin' Reeves and Matt Kint, co-writing with illustrations by living legend Ron Garney. Damn, that's awesome. I haven't checked any of the Berserker stuff yet. I may have to.
I thought we'd live to see the day that Matt Kint collaborated with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
maybe he too knows kung fu. We don't know. Well, this collects the 4-issue mini that previously came out in one package here, and this contains all 4 of those with artwork by Andrea Sorrentino and colorist Jordi Belair, as well as Ron Garney. That is an excellent creative team for this work right here on page 102. Some of the best in the biz right there. Holy cow, that artwork. Man. All right. And then any of you who are fans of Something is Killing the Children and really wanted a bandana, well, you can get one on page 105. Oh, I'm sorry. Something is Killing the Children. There we go.
I would have prompted you if I had to, Ian, but no. You're a pro. You didn't need it.
Thank you much. Thank you muchly. The Stephanie Phillips and Flaviano soft cover for Grimm Volume 1, also solicited on page 106. That collects the first 5 issues of the series that's been taken off a lot from what I've been hearing. This I pointed it out as kind of like Bleach with a more American comics flair to it, and sticking to the horror, and that seems to be the case here, as Jessica Harrow's untimely death is a mystery, but her journey as one of the many reapers in the afterlife has only just begun. Volume 1, jumping on the ground floor.
And on page 107, we have a final issue alert. We've come to the end of Al Ewing and Simone Di Meo's We Only Find Them When They're Dead. With number 15. It's been a sprawling cosmic odyssey about crews of space explorers who harvest the corpses of deceased space gods and the things they discover in the warpings of time, space, and the mind that surround them. Here we go. It's apparently a maxi series, issue number 15 and out. And it's been nominated for Eisner Awards, and you should all try it.
Yes, definitely the case, and I am going to try to pick this up as one full volume when it's available.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, if they solicit a hardcover or a trade, one way or the other, depending on my financial means of the month, then I will definitely check this out in one package here, because it's Al Ewing, it's Simone Di Meo, like it's hard to pass it up, and I've heard not just from you, Murd, but from elsewhere that this is an epic tale. Excellent. Alrighty. Volume 1 of The Vampire Slayer out here as a new era of the Slayerverse has arrived on page 112. After years of fighting against the forces of evil, Buffy Summers has lost her powers and her very identity herself. It's up to an unprepared and inexperienced new Slayer to take up the mantle, and that is the one and only Willow. So where is that going to go? That's a damn good question. So any of you looking to check out this next saga in the Buffy, the Vampire Slayer universe, check out Volume 1 here, which collects the first 4 issues on page 112. And I think that's all for Boom for me. So let's head over to Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Excellent. And of course, Bendis. And Bendis has something new for us this month. A 4-issue mini starting off here on page 124, one of the many gems of the month that presents us in this preview's catalog. Bendis on the writing and Jacob Edgar on the art chores. And this is all about every single person in every mythology that was told they were the one are brought together for the first time to defeat the one. That is an awesome idea. and my question is, like, are we going with actual characters here, or are we going with characters that Bendis created?
I think it's probably more the latter, or at best, very, very loose analogs.
Okay.
Of characters that have been seen before in myth and or popular fiction.
Got
For the most part, I think it's just going to be like Bendis randos.
Understood. Well, either way, all the ones that thought they were the one taking on the one is a cool premise. And I may have to check it out once it's all said and done here for Bendis. And he seems to have made a good home for himself over at Dark Horse since his departure from DC. So we'll see where this one goes here on page 124. Hopefully there's a Neo analog in there somewhere. And then page 128. Talk about 4-issue miniseries.
Yeah.
Yep. Kevin Smith, Jeremy Simser, and John Sprengelmeyer bring us Quick Stops, a 4-issue miniseries of anecdotes from the annals of the Askew-universe.
Blunt Man and Chronic swing again. Snuggadooch.
Gucci's, yep. Man. Well, this is perfect timing with Clerks 3 out in theaters in one form or another, soon to hit digital. And we got black and white comics like the Clerks films.
Yep.
On page 128. Even though Clerks 2 was in color. But, you know. We don't have to tell him that. And Resident Alien returns for us on page 130. Peter Hogan and Steve Parkhouse bring us Resident Alien: The Book of Love on page a 4-issue miniseries here, continuing the story of Resident Alien, which has become a sci-fi series starring the one and only Alan Tudyk. I believe their second season recently wrapped up. So we'll see where this one goes here on page 130. More Star Wars stuff out of Dark Horse. Always
Yeah. Interesting that they got that back.
Yeah. I'm at the same time, though, they are doing a specific niche. Like, it's not like they're doing the main books.
Yep,
yeah,
the one
you're right.
was filled by IDW up until a very short time ago.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
yes, I agree with Shane, though, that it is interesting and also laudable is not quite the right word, but it's I'm just happy to see it happen.
Yeah.
Dark Horse gets
For
a
how
license back.
Yeah, how great Dark Horse did all those years with Star Wars. It's nice to see them be able to do something with it again.
Absolutely, yeah, and to get creators like Daniel Jose Older on the writing for the Star Wars High Republic Adventures is always nice to see. He's got a full 8-issue mini in the Star Wars universe. Padawan or pirate? Those are the questions on page 132. You one from Mignola, which is something we get to say every single month at Dark Horse, and that is not a bad thing. Mm-hmm. On page 135, Koshke the Deathless in Hell, 4-issue mini by Mignola with Ben Stenbeck on the art chores this time around, and of course a cover by Dave Stewart. The world above may be over and Hellboy gone with it, but Koshke is still in hell and content with his wine and his books until an old face arrives and brings Koshke a critical task. The old and powerful foe is returning, and Koshke must take up his sword and defend the city from destruction. Returning characters from Hellboy and Hell and more here for this new 4-issue mini, page 135. All right. And getting close to wrapping up Dark Horse here. Anything else of note from either of y'all?
No, I don't think so.
I think I'm good too.
Okay, terrific. Then we will head over to DC. Once I'm done scrolling here to set us up for the rest of the catalog. There we go. All right. Starting us off this time around. Make it a little bit bigger here with on page 1, Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo, written and drawn by Mark Silvestri.
Yeah.
Wowzers. That is, I did not know this book was coming, and I am fascinated by it.
That's what, a 7-issue series?
Yeah. Yep. I hope it's all drawn already. I'll just leave it at that because
yeah.
Your mouth to editorial's ears, my friend.
I'm assuming it is, or else it probably would not have been solicited. But the Joker will go to any lengths to get Harley Quinn back after she's abducted by a strange culprit. But who? Mysterious Joker-like monsters are stalking the streets of Gotham, collecting severed heads. But why? Jim Gordon is missing, and after receiving a package containing a bloody piece of Gotham's commissioner, Batman knows he must be willing to do anything to save him. But how? Whole lot of questions here and not a lot of answers. But darn is the artwork going to be beautiful.
Yeah, now, I'm not thrilled about how the Joker looks. However, if you go to page 3, the way he has Batman portrayed there at the top is spectacular.
Agreed. Yes. Yep. Definitely. Absolutely the case. Yeah, but I mean, and Silvestri, his artwork has actually grown over the years. Like it's not just not just 90s image out of him. Like
No.
see how it's evolved, and I'm looking to see just how beautifully drafted this whole thing is.
Yeah.
Agreed on the Joker though, especially the cloth of the head, of the head.
Yeah.
Big fan of that. But those lips are scary.
Yeah, kind of getting a kick out of his fighting style there on the cover of number 2, though.
Oh
yeah, just a kick.
Yep. Yeah. So the first 2 issues solicited here, one of which on sale in December. So this is a pre-solicit of issue 2, but nevertheless, looking to see it check out there as we get to the penultimate issue of Zdarsky and Jimenez's epic Failsafe in Batman 129 on page 4. So any of you who've been checking that out, guess what you have in your future? Zur-En-Arrh!
Yeah.
Man, I think this is the first time since Morrison we've seen Zur-En-Arrh mentioned in one way or the other.
You're probably right.
Yep.
Yeah, other than an Imaginext toy, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it gets me to start screaming Zur-En-Arrh again for the first time in a while, then I am A-okay with that.
Just call Raf Suhu up and just scream that into the receiver and hang up. No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because then he'll call me back, say swear to me, and hang up, and then they'll start a whole thing. I'd say.
Now, I wonder if something's happening at DC because this too is having a pre-solicitation kind of thing for December with Batman 130 in there as well.
Yeah, good point.
So they're just taking December off from previews?
They may be. I'm also wondering if it's just because it's the end of the year that maybe they're expecting like offices to be shut down or whatever.
Could be.
Yeah. But then on page 6, let's just go full 90s, shall we?
Yeah.
Batman Spawn the Classic Collection, with a brand new cover by Capullo in process here, shown in gorgeous black and whites on the page here. Man, Doug Munch, Chuck Dixon, Alan Grant, Frank Miller, art by Klaus Johnson and Todd McFarlane, bringing us back.
Might have to check. I'm pretty sure I still have the original issues, so I won't get it.
I'm positive I still have the original issues. So,
but if I don't, I'd be tempted to get them again because I'm kind of on a early Spawn kick right now.
Yeah,
really.
Well, I got the first 2 trades that were put out a few years ago, which collect the first 12 issues of the original Spawn, because I kind of had a hankering to read them, and I don't have those issues anymore, and I never had any of the trades. So I found them. I forget where I found them on sale, fairly reasonable. Like I'm like $7-8 each, so I picked those up to kind of reread.
Nice. Well, if you don't want to go digging through your books, this is an easier way to get it.
I can't do that. I do that so many times.
I'm the bad conscience.
Go to gosh, when I used to get the conventions, go through, get all this. Wow. Oh, I get home, I have that crap.
I will also add, it's only $20 before discount, so
and that's not a bad thing.
That's not bad at all for this.
Yeah,
and it's a hardcover for that matter.
Shane, every time I get back from a convention or sale and discover that I've double bought something, I toss it into a special box I have in my bedroom that I call the Crate of Shame. It is overflowing.
I should get you a shame bell.
Yeah, I can't say I ever thought about putting in a Crate of Shame, but that's a hilarious idea.
well, for you it would be the Crate of Shane. Hi-oh.
Yeah. Hey, I'm back, Shane. Ho.
Well, they have some artwork from those crossovers for everybody to see on page 7 as well.
Yep. I remember in the Frank Miller written one, Batman kept calling Spawn a twit over and over.
That sounds like Miller. Are you dense? Are you? Well, you know. Page 8. The next of the One Bad Day, as Jerry Duggan makes his way over to DC, as he's mostly been working for Marvel, but here he is for One Bad Day, Mr. Freeze.
Need cover.
Oh, gorgeous cover. Absolutely gorgeous. Very Batman the Animated Series vibes.
Very
Oh,
much.
sure. The whole thing trapped inside a snow globe. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Which the snow globe could be the globe on top of his head, which could be like, or at least clutching himself. There's just possibilities.
Yep.
It's just a neat image.
And it's Matteo Scalera on that cover and on the interiors. This is going to be gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yep. And from the preview pages, I am correct.
Oh, yes, it bears you out nicely, Ian. Wow.
Yeah, that is, and this is before colors. I want to add, like, wowzers.
Because it's kind of Mr. Freeze and cold snow and winter stuff. That'd be kind of cool if it was black and white.
That would be awesome, actually. Now that you mention it, I don't think they're going to go that way, but if they do,
I don't think so either. But
it would be fitting. Good call.
Especially looking at that first and second panel on that page.
Yeah, absolutely. Just having him bathed in shadow like that is absolutely what I want to say. Yep.
Like almost, gosh, I don't know. Almost like everything from his perspective is black and white like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, page 10. I remember seeing this one talked about that Jeff was returning to the JSA. And it begins here with the new Golden Age.
Yep.
Jeff Johns with art by Steve Lieber, Jerry Ordway, and Diego Orlategui. I hope that's right. But either way, yeah, the Golden Age is back. And I am here for it, especially with creators like that behind it.
Yep, this is Jeff Johns doing his own timeline building here. It's you notice how it's in the aftermath of Flashpoint Beyond,
Yes,
as opposed to in the aftermath of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I don't think Johns had much input into.
Yes, very good point on that one. And I'm wondering if something happens in that to sort of, change the DC universe, because that never happens. One way or the other here that then leads to this story being able to be told one way or the other. We'll have to find out. But Rip Hunter's involved, and so are the Time Masters.
Yep. Why are they the most unlikable heroes in the DC universe?
Which they certainly are not in Dark Crisis, because they very much, the Justice Society have very much been what's been saving things in the DC universe.
But no, I mean the Time Masters.
Oh, the Time Masters. Okay.
That's what the solicitation copy is asking.
Yes.
It also asks, who or what is nostalgia? With a capital N. So we've got a bit of a new personified antagonist there.
It's everybody around my age.
Member JSA? Yeah, I remember.
Remember back in the 90s and early 2000s when that came out?
Yeah, I remember.
But now check out page 12.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. This is Murd's Morsel of the Month here on page 12.
Yes. Wow.
That is just all kinds of awesomeness.
The Lost Children #1 by Jeff Johns and art by Todd A. Nock. And it's a whole bunch of forgotten Golden Age kids sidekicks that Jeff Johns and Roy Thomas or others never got around to reviving. And Johns is going to show us what happened to all these forgotten teens, second bananas of yesteryear. Kind of harkens back to the old Justice team.
Yeah,
it showed up in that Peter David and Todd Knox Young Justice series.
But now, correct me if I'm wrong. In the middle there, is that Secret?
It is, yes.
Oh, yeah, good
Which
call.
is
That's a direct
awesome.
tie into Young Justice / Old Justice.
Wow.
Yep, there's Dan the Dynamite, who was a member of Old Justice, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of the, I guess that's the Newsboy Legion off to the left, because one of them could have been.
Think so.
Sweep second of Our Men's Junior Our Men. I guess that guy over to the right is probably one of them.
Did the Metal Men ever have a dog, or is that another type of dog?
That is the Golden Age Robot Man's dog.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Robot dog.
Got it. Man, this combined with, again, the previous page, and look at that frickin' cover there, with Mikhail Janin and Jeff Johns on Justice Society of America, and then Todd Nauck and Jeff Johns on this Stargirl: The Lost Children.
Yep.
November is going to be a good month for fans of DC, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. And joining us just in time to talk some Golden Age joy.
Woo!
It's the one and only Chris Eberly.
Enter a legend.
Yes.
And I'm Chris Everly.
We've already done that.
Yeah, I'm sorry you're late.
I'm sorry.
I stole your and, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Had to
We're
carry
already
your
covered that.
Brethren, it is a delight to be here after an exhausting day.
By all means, sir, and I feel you. I was on a train for quite some time earlier and enjoying talking not only about comics that you would like that were earlier on in the previews that I hope you have earmarked, that specifically, what was that, over an Image?
Soldier stories.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I saw that.
Excellent. But the return of the Justice Society of America in the hands of Jeff Johns, and the subsequent Stargirl: The Lost Children by Jeff Johns and Todd Nauck.
Yep.
It is going to be a fun month for DC.
Oh, Todd Nauck for Levy Poo.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not only him.
Yep, for other people too.
Me too.
And as we were pointing out, a whole bunch of Golden Age teen sidekicks plus Secret in there. Secret in there, and a bunch of other people. So.
No, I'm very much looking forward to reading these. By the way, Shane, I love the comfy lumberjack jacket you're wearing right
thanks. Yeah. Oh God, this week, man, you get to break out the flannel, the quarter zip sweaters. It's fall.
now. That's right. You're a cold weather fellow.
Oh yes.
Look at that artwork.
Panel.
Wow.
Yeah. I cannot wait to see this book.
It's like I've
Wow.
jumped back in time to Young Justice. Like,
You got it.
That is beautiful. Holy
Especially
mackerel.
that bottom left-hand panel with them coming out of her bedroom, like jumping out for an adventure. Just kind of
Yeah.
like what's on the show too at times. But man, I just absolutely loved when he did the artwork on Young Justice.
you know, Shane, you may have an answer for this or you may not, but like, was there ever a quote unquote new explanation as to how she got the cosmic rod, or has there been enough DC resets at this point where it just came from?
I don't recall if in current DC continuity there's a good explanation, because I don't think they've really said Jack's been there at all.
Okay.
But there was back a few years where everything was reset to where everything happened, so maybe that was it, and they just kind of skipped over that part.
I'm guessing that enough resets have happened where Jack's out there somewhere and she got it from him, but who the
Yeah,
heck?
and we're kind of back to the way it was before the 52s and all that happened.
You never know.
And then you get to the next page. Oh,
Just write a good comic. I don't care anymore.
well, very true.
Yep. Blue Beetle Graduation Day, Josh Trujillo, art and cover by Adrian Gutierrez. Jaime's back, and it's graduation day. Can Jamie find balance in his life and rise to become a true hero, or is it curtains for Blue Beetle?
Curtains.
And just for whatever reason, a random thought ran through my head to go bye, like Jamie would have done.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh man, yeah. This looks like fun.
Look at that artwork.
This month was killing me as I was filling out my stuff.
It's a great month for DC.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really is. Whole bunch of new stuff, and even the stuff that's going already. Look at these '90s rewind. Wow.
I mean, a lot of them look awesome.
They really do. Yeah.
I love the Batman and Robin one.
Oh, it's excellent. But also, I didn't even know. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Superman, Son of Kal-El. I was like, wait a minute. Is that Superboy? Like, no, they just made it very Superman in the style. Okay.
Yeah.
But of course, any reason to get Tim Drake in his original costume, especially mini.
Well, that covers about as 90 as you can get. Holy
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I still have the original, like, I want to say it's an extra long poster of like that when he first premiered kind of thing. It's like within arm's reach that I still have to want to find a place to hang up sometime. It's just an awesome.
Shane,
awesome
someday
poster.
you should do a camera tour of your cave.
Well, I have
It's
to.
very impressive.
Part of why I haven't, and I'll just give you a little peek behind the curtain, is the disaster that's on the floor there.
Dude.
And I know we all have kind of those things, but
That's not much of a disaster, my friend. I can assure you.
I still just want to clean it up at some point.
Can I
Gosh,
point, can I point out the one thing that's missing as I make it bigger from the Superman Son of Kal-El? Even though it has an S shield, it really should have like which number of the
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Good
Yep.
call, Ian.
Which number issued of the year it is.
Nothing is more 90s Superman than that.
Yeah.
Yep. And of course, what's more 90s than Wildcats? We'll get to that right here on page 18 as Matthew Rosenberg and Steven Segovia return us to the world of Wildcats for the first time in quite some time.
I never read a Wildcats comic in my life. I have
Oh,
to say.
God, I love the original Wildcats and Gen 13. That was a lot of fun.
And let me also mention, so Silvestri's in this, McFarlane's in this, Wildcats are in this, 90s covers are in this. Like, man, I'm 12 again. Like, this is crazy.
Well, so now am I so old that now the 90s is the nostalgia decade to go to? Because before that it was the 80s and I was okay with that.
Shane,
if we're into the 90s now, I'm getting even older quicker.
Shane, I've seen nostalgia for new metal from the early 2000s. So like it's
yeah. See, now I'm in a Batman villain cave. It's because I ripped it off the wall.
He's coming right for us. But
that'll fall in a second again.
Well, spinning off the pages of Batman comes a sense-shattering new series. The Halo Corporation has gathered a motley crew of operatives led by Cole Grifter Cash. We're going to make the world a better place, no matter who they have to kill. And it's set straight in the DC universe. And we'll see just what this version of Wildcats is like on page 18 here.
I think I liked it better when the Wildstorm stuff was just off on Earth 51. And it could just be its own thing.
I won't disagree with that. I did enjoy that time period, and it was nicely self-contained and enjoyable for me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But I do get a kick out of the price tag stickers being slapped on there.
Yep.
That's a great cover. Holy mackerel.
Oh my God, yes.
Wow.
And yeah, the price tag stickers, exactly. Yeah, Waller versus Wildstorm by Spencer Ackerman and Evan Narcisse ties into this whole shebang that's starting off here on page 20.
This takes place during the Cold War in the early 80s, it says.
Yes, it does.
Wow.
Celebrate Wildstorm's legacy of espionage-flavored superhero morality plays, pitting Stormwatch, yes, against the deadliest people in the DCU, including Deathstroke himself. Stormwatch back in old school Stormwatch way.
Yeah,
makes me happy. Not the half-hearted New 52 attempt of putting Martian Manhunter in Stormwatch. Even if that was written by Paul Cornell, that was not the best of moves.
Yeah, he should be part of the JLA.
Yep. And then page 21, Wildstorm 30th anniversary special.
God, that's terrible. 30 years.
Jim Lee, J. Scott Campbell, Brian Hitch, Brett Booth, and others, along with Matthew Rosenberg, Brandon Choi, J. Scott Campbell, Brett Booth, Ed Brisson, and more, all celebrate this milestone anniversary of not Milestone, but Wildstorm.
God. It just hit me. When this all started, I was 20 and I had just had a hernia operation, and I had a friend stop by and bring by an issue of Spawn that I missed getting at the comic shop because I was laid up, and a couple of these things because he thought I'd be interested. Like, what a throwback to what was happening in 1990.
Yep. So what you're saying, Shane?
Or 92.
So what you're saying, Shane, is get off my lawn.
I'm old.
Hey, you're not that old yet, brother. Come on now.
Oh, it just feels it. Wow. Wildstorm's 30 years old. Unbelievable.
Look at that cover, man. Beautiful. Page 20.
Yeah.
That's a Christopher Reeve smile there.
Oh yeah, that's totally a Chris Reeve smile.
Absolutely is. Yep.
God, my mom while we would watch Superman movies on HBO, and she would watch them, once or so, but whenever it was on and it got to the end of the movie when he'd be flying over the earth and kind of smile at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, she would just stop dead in her tracks and watch and wait for a smile and then just smile away.
Written by Mark Waid, Cinna Grace, Alex Segura, and Marv Wolfman.
Wow.
Oh,
That is a all-star team there for this Kal-El return special.
Look at those artists.
Excellent. Yep. Art by
Max Rayner, Dean Hashspiel, Jack Herbert, Riley Brown.
Yep.
Dan Mora cover.
Oh, beautiful. Well, happy to see Superman back in one form or another, and still wearing them red tights.
oh yes, indeed.
Got to have the red underwear outside the tights.
I got used to the other way, but it's just not the same.
Agreed. Yep. John Stewart, the Emerald Knight, with a K. Jeffrey Thorne and Marco Santucci on page 23. John Stewart has been trapped in the dark sectors for months with the rest of his Green Lantern comrades. With the power of the God Storm at his disposal, John's using everything he can to take down Isak, the mad new god, and bring his fellow corpsemen home. This is a very cool premise here. It's a one-shot for that matter. Nice one-and-done tale here on page 23 for any of you fans of John Stewart or any of you fans of Green Lantern in general. And then on page...
Look, it's Murd unhinged.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is totally Murd unhinged.
What happened to you, Murd? What happened?
Look at the cover, Legion of Dark Christ into Earth's number 6.
My vengeance for the desecration of Lucky Charms.
And you would really be flipping your lid for the box of Lucky Charms / Cinnamon Toast Crunch we have in our house currently.
But
Ugh.
It's
Murd,
bizarre.
make you feel better. At my local Wegmans, they have Fruit Brute.
They have what?
Yeah, they have Fruit Brute this year.
Oh, it's probably that re-release from a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Yeah, where it's all like cherry flavored as opposed to the original movie.
I try to make it feel better, folks, but alas.
And, well, issue 6 we are up to as war erupts as more heroes are taken at the hands of Pariah.
I've got to get caught up.
Yep. I as I said, the last issue that I read felt a lot more like a Crisis, and this cover sure as heck does look like a Crisis. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, direct homage to the original Crisis number 12. All it needs is somebody bouncing off of Pariah's chest there.
Yeah.
And I see we've even gone cross multiverse here as we've got President Superman there in the corner, along with some other heroes.
Oh yeah.
Not normally there. So, yep. Looking forward to seeing where this is all going to turn out here. And yes, even a Black Adam movie variant for some reason. Well, I mean, to be fair, Black Adam has been a part of Dark Crisis, so that's not too far out of left field. But yeah,
That movie's next month, isn't it?
it is indeed. Yep.
All right.
You just wait. When Dark Crisis crosses over into that movie, you're all going to have your heads explode.
Whoa. Dark Crisis: The Dark Army by Mark Waid, Delia S. Dawson, and Dennis Culver, with art by the one, the only, returning to draw a version of Robin, Freddie Williams II.
Ooh.
Yes. So in for this.
Yep.
It's got Wade, it's got Freddy, it's got Eclipso, it's got me.
Damian Wayne is the Robin of choice here, along with Red Canary and Dr. Light as the main characters. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. And Dark Crisis Warzone #1, Matthew Rosenberg, Delia S. Dawson, Jeremy Adams, Frank Thierry. Huh. Go figure. And Stephanie Williams, all together on a one-shot tie-in with art by Daniel Bayliss, Fernando Passarin, Matt Ryan, George Cambadeus, and Serge Acuna on page 26. Got Wally West Flash involved here, Red Canary, got some Green Lantern action going on, Spectre, Raven, a lot more where that came from. The boots on the ground view of Dark Crisis, they call it.
It's only because he's running.
Yes, that would be why.
I love Bitter Shane.
There's nothing bitter about it.
Oh, If I were still picking up single issues, I'd be picking up the variant cover of Dark Crisis Young Justice #6, which Todd drew because
Yep.
oof,
There they are.
but six
Yep.
of this miniseries that I cannot wait to sink my teeth in. This is the 6th issue of 6 of Dark Crisis Young Justice on page 27.
One of Young Justice books so bad.
I know.
It was so good.
And that was my favorite thing Bendis did for DC.
I will agree with you.
Yeah, that was
It was absolutely my favorite thing he did for DC.
very well done. And issue 3 of Batman versus Robin, solicited on page 29, along with 22.
Oh boy.
Nightwing. Yep.
And judging by the cover, it's tying in directly to the main story because it's going to feature the enigmatic villain Heartless.
Yeah.
Who was the driving villain in the current Nightwing storyline that, again, is the best comic I'm reading right now.
I'll tell you what, Chris, if they reveal who Heartless is in the annual, that is going to be some ballsy stuff.
Good point.
That'll teach you to sleep on the quote-unquote throwaway annual.
Yeah.
Besides, there's a Bitewing backup
Bitewing
story
year 1. Yep.
Yes.
about Nightwing's dog Haley and her first year with her new owner.
I think it all makes sense that Nightwing has a dog because this is just as fun as that Hawkeye series.
Sure.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it has a lot
In
of
fact,
there to it.
I just picked up the latest issue of Nightwing because I hadn't ordered these older issues yet. I'll be catching up with the next shipment. But so the cover is a homage to the Brady Bunch opening screen.
Yes.
It's amazing. I mean, the art that Redondo is producing is he's really doing something special in that book.
Absolutely. On the next page, by the way, the Batgirls annual, Freaky Friday with the Batgirls. Enough said.
Becky Cloonan writing.
Yep. And Michael W. Conrad on the co-writing there with Robbie Rodriguez. That is bound to be hilarious. All the different when villains and heroes switch bodies. I can't help but think of Justice League again, like when Lex Luthor switches bodies with Wally West Flash, takes off the mask and like,
yeah.
I have no idea who this is.
By the way, just a quick mention if I might, Ian, because I noticed that the Detective Comics is dealing with a werewolf.
Yeah.
How do we not mention Werewolf by Night in our last comic talk that's coming out October 7th?
We mentioned it in passing, if I remember.
Okay, I Man Thing. Man Thing. I am so. We'll talk about it later on when the premieres, but I'm so excited for that show. Anyway,
just like I can't wait to talk She-Hulk with you, gents, on the next time.
You bet.
Because we are heading towards a return in that series, and they're making it very, very obvious as of last episode.
They sure did.
Yeah.
So, yep. I'll just leave it at that. And DC's Grifter got run over by a reindeer on page 32. That's how you celebrate Wildstorm's anniversary. Christmas special right there for everybody who wants to see Grifter run over by a reindeer.
The art is so good that even though his mask does not show his eyes, you can still see the panic in them.
Yeah.
Speaking of whites and eyes, Chris, we did mention before you came on the Deadpool 3 news that broke today.
What's that?
I'll just reveal it to you right now,
yeah,
sir.
Please. I've been out of it.
Spoilers yet again
spoilers yet again
for the next 30 seconds or so. Hugh Jackman's coming back.
I had a feeling he might. That's great news.
Yep. So it'll be
excellent.
It'll be Hugh and Deadpool.
Now, is that movie? So that movie's still going to be in the X-Men universe then?
We don't know. We don't know. By the end of it, he's going to wind up in the MCU, but we don't know how he's going to get there.
Oh, he is. Okay. Well, that's great.
Marvel
news, man.
Studios making it, so we
They
know
are okay.
that much.
Yeah.
Very cool. Excellent.
Point out on page 30.
I love facsimile editions.
Yes.
I have to say, I did order the Detective Comics one for Batman, and I did put on this Justice League, the Brave and the Bold one for Justice League.
Nice.
I got the Detective Comic ones. What a hoot and a half that was, looking through it, all the old ads and everything. That it is literally a facsimile edition.
I'm sorry, Ian, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love that they do that ads and all. That's what makes it.
It was neat.
Murray, you might remember this, and maybe Shane would too. What was the fantastic reprint series DC did years ago? There were gold covers of all the
Millennium
classic
Edition.
Millennium,
Millennium
editions.
Editions.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, those were awesome.
And they
Okay.
were awesome too, but just the way these are produced is
Yeah.
just a little bit more awesome.
Yep, they did not include ads in the Millennium.
That's
And while I enjoyed the Millennium Edition like foil stamp kind of stylized cover, I kind of like these more where it's just straight on 99.9% reproduction.
I think I remember them so fondly because I remember they did a lot of Golden Age first appearances in that Millennium series.
They did.
Which was cool. Yeah.
I also kind of just want to see what 90s ads are included in Superman 75.
Right.
Oh, but that's just a special.
That's just special. Yeah, that's not facsimile.
Darn.
But yeah, I'm going through, I'm flipping through that. And I've done it tons of times on any version of Detective Comics 26, but thumbing through it on an original issue of this would be $1 million. What I'm holding in my hand, that's just inconceivable.
Oh my God.
And now for the best writer in comics.
Yes, indeed.
Or one of the best.
Page 34, Batman, Catwoman, Tom King, Clay Mann, Liam Sharp. All 12 issues for you here in one package.
And that's the best way to read Tom King, folks.
Yep. Hardcover edition for $40. Get your discounts on going, and I'm sure there will be a trade paperback to come for that as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're still, half off for trades and hardbacks right now?
As of now, yes, DCBS remains, I believe, exactly that, 50% off. Yep.
Never a bad thing.
And this will be on my Christmas list.
Tremendous.
Rorschach, 100% going to be on my Christmas list because I need to check that out.
This book really taps into the zeitgeist of the time when it comes to the impact of conspiracy theories and what's the perception of reality versus reality in politics. It's a brilliant piece of work.
Yep.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for a collection of that. I didn't pick that up yet.
Here it is.
Yep. This is the softcover edition of that, I might add. So
Kelly Act Now.
Yeah.
And then Batman Killing Time.
I got to finish the last 3 issues of this, but I've loved it so far. I haven't finished the miniseries yet.
Yeah. Everything Tom King and this
Strange Adventures, man. God.
Yep.
We've talked about this book ad nauseum. I mean, it's I think it's one of the best. It's brilliant. I mean, it just goes into how when you study something like a war, how there's always the gray area, like in terms of how different people perceive it depending on their experience and what they suffer. And this is not your granddaddy's Adam Strange by any stretch.
Yeah,
very much the truth.
So, but in the best possible way.
And House of L on page 36 by Claudia Gray. Anybody who's been waiting for that, this is book 3, The Treacherous Hope, on page 36. And here we are for the multiple solicitations on each page. Kal-El Returns Part 5 on page.
I love the Superman 90s hair with the hairdryer.
Yeah. Agreed. God, that's beautiful. 90s month, baby. 90s month. All right. Anything else of note here in the singles? Look at that cover for Batman Urban Legends 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wheelman of Gotham. Interesting.
What if that's a new version of the Getaway Genius?
Ooh. That's one of the classics, right?
Well, use that term loosely. It's an old Batman villain. Let's put it that way.
Nice. Well, Renee Montoya's involved, and we'll see where everything goes.
By the way, I'm sorry. Go back one, if you would, please. I'll talk about this more next Comic Talk. At my LCS, I picked up the first 6 issues in trade of Dark Knights of Steel because it's written by Tom Taylor. And I have to be graphic. Holy shit. Shane, are you reading this?
No.
Oh, I'll save it for the Comic Talk. Phenomenal work. Phenomenal all the way around.
Good to hear. Yeah. Good to hear. I'll be reading that on the app for sure. Wow, look at that cover there for DC Mech number 5. Bathed in green.
Yeah.
All Green Lantern out the wazoo there on page 42.
Gotham City Year One by Tom King. Looking forward to that as well.
Yep.
Definitely.
Shane, have you read any of the Zdarsky Batman yet?
I read the first issue.
All right, we'll
I
talk
liked
about
it.
it. Yeah, me too.
liked it.
We'll talk about it. Yep.
Looney Tunes 269 on page 45.
Still going.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
With
some
Gossamer.
of my favorite characters on that cover right there.
Yep. You got it.
When Bugs misplaces the name of the awards recipient, he announces that it's up to the nominees to decide the winner amongst themselves.
Uh-oh.
Hilarity ensues. Nice.
I love when he does Gossamer's hair and
Look
nails.
at Nightwing 98. Look at the cover.
Yeah. Night Might.
In disco poses. Come on.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yep, definitely in.
This has Bruno on the cover, but artwork by Danielle D.
Yeah, he doesn't do the interiors of every issue. But I forget the other artists that get in there are superb too. But
Sure.
Redondo, I have to say, is in a class all by himself.
Absolutely. Yep. Oh yeah! Wow, the Superman Son of Kal-El, number 17.
Wow, look at that cover.
Very Rockwell.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely, Murd.
Travis Moore putting that one out there. Great stuff.
Let me pause for a second and just mention that when I was going through the previews and then we're just reading some books, I think it's fair to say we're right now we're experiencing a really magnificent era of comic books.
We are
There's so much good stuff being published.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly by independents, but even the big two are producing a lot of great work. I think in the past couple of years, it's really exciting to be a reader right now.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, and Superman's space.
Oh man,
on page 48.
Yeah, that's been amazing too.
That one solicited. Yep. Kenny,
look at that Flash cover.
Yeah.
Kenny Porter doing the writing on Flash Fastest Man Alive number 3, with art by Jason Howard.
Love the cover for Human Target 9.
Oh wow. Yep.
And we finally get the bat.
That it's just awesome.
Yep. That's why I'm almost speechless when I describe that book. That's how good it is.
I know I'm harping on it every time we talk about it, but I'm telling you, man, you got to go back and listen to some Bob Bailey, Johnny Dollar, and then read this book.
You mentioned that, yeah.
Just a series, a 5-part story of Bob Bailey of Johnny Dollar. Doesn't matter which one. Just listen to one of them, and then go read this book.
And how about the cover directly next to that for the Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, number 2? What a portray. I mean, we were talking earlier about how Silvestri's Joker may not be our cup of tea. This is exactly how I want my Joker to look. That's beautiful, haunting and frightening.
Yep, and all
it is haunting.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. New Champions of Shazam number 4 there. Jose Campbell. Art by Evan Doc Shane.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And Tim Drake Robin number 3, home to that amazing 90s cover.
Yep.
There on the bottom of that page 50. Okay, onward to the trades. We get a collection of Tomasi and Gleason's Batman and Robin, which was an excellent series.
Yes, it was.
Yep. Page 51 collects that there of Bruce and Damian's adventures from the early New 52 era. And it was all beautifully done, and the team of Tomasi and Gleason in general was one of my favorites in comics there for a while. And directly next to that, Neil Adams' Batman versus Ra's al Ghul, which needs to be mentioned as one of Neil's final works there.
Yep.
Yeah. I just and it was very coincidental. Just before he passed away, I had picked that up at a comic shop I was visiting and was poking around for something and saw it, and I'm like, oh, this looks gorgeous. I don't even know if the story's any good or not. It just looked beautiful.
Yep. Okay. Anything else in the trades, gents?
Just the Nightwing stuff. If you're not reading it, it's a good way to.
Well,
to grab a couple.
there's a Nightwing. I think book 2
Yep.
is out there, right?
Book 1 and book 2.
Book 1 is soft cover, 2 is the hardcover. So just to explain to people, so they also collected. I've already forgot it because it was that forgettable. Whatever the crossover they stuck Nightwing in between. I know Ian's going to tell us what it was.
Fear State, I believe it is.
Fear State, which totally, it was excruciating because you could tell Taylor had to put his story on hold.
Yeah.
To deal with this cross that nobody's going to remember, which is why. And he kind of peripherally acknowledged what he was doing. So I was like, all right, this is good, but it's clearly not what he should be doing. Then you get to the second volume, bam, all thrusters again. So
the Fear State issues were a nice dalliance, at least have him, with Bruce for the first time.
Yeah, and yeah, that's a good point. And like I said, it wasn't like it was quote bad.
Oh yeah,
but what came before is so good that I'm like, I don't want to read this. Like, let's get back to the stories he's telling.
Yeah,
read. Yeah. And one last one to throw out there on page 55, Superman Red and Blue. For any of you who are fans of Batman Black and White, this is the only using the colors blue and red to craft stories with Superman. And this is 6 issues of that, all collected here in one volume with some of the best writers and artists in comics there for you, including G. Will Wilson, Mark Waid, Marguerite Bennett, art by Wes Craig, Clayton Henry.
I love Steve Lieber. Oh, great.
Yeah. Kristen Ward, Joe Quinones, and plenty.
Francis Manapul.
All there on page 55.
I remember being very tempted by the solicitations of the individual issues of this miniseries, but I trade waited, and now it's already in my cart.
Trade waited, ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome.
The majestic patience of the Murdo.
Over to Dynamite we roll, gents.
All right,
little Tarzan action.
15 minutes of pumpkin, so I got to bolt. I was trying to make it through DC now.
Yep, no worries. All good. Well, Lord of the Jungle #1, Dan Jurgens and Benito Gallego together on Lord of the Jungle. not something you normally see from Dan Jurgens, but Tarzan returns to comics. And this could be very, very interesting on 157 to have a.
That's fun because Tarzan's been so many different publishers have had Tarzan at different periods in comic book history. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do with it.
I remember Jurgens doing some kind of a Tarzan crossover comic at Dark Horse back in the 90s. With whom, I don't remember. With what character Tarzan
looks like he's being interviewed there, actually. And
yes, he is indeed.
Yeah, so people can read that up.
Yep, definitely.
All right. Have a good night, gents.
Take care, brother.
See ya.
Catch you next time around.
Yippers.
All right. Scroll on down here to It's Blood on the Boardroom Floor. Literally, with Cherish #1. Now, do you think that she's really called Katana Collins? Maybe.
Wait a minute. Don't get cynical again, Levinstein.
I'm just saying. I think that's a nom de plume. Like, there's no way that her parents gave her that name. But Gabrielle Caetano on the artwork as well on this one. This is a new series by Katana Collins. When the blood of the boardroom floor moves from metaphorical to literal, cherishes the story of Amelia Fellows, a young woman who witnessed the betrayal and murder of her father at the hands of those he once trusted. And unfortunately for her, the people behind her father's death are some of the richest, most powerful people in the world. If she wants justice for her father, she'll have to get it herself in the well-armed, high-tech vigilante Cherish. Designed by
very
Mark
80s.
Silvestri. Oh yeah. I mean, with the designs by Mark Silvestri, you're getting 80s, 90s like thrown in there immediately, and cool concept. Honestly, like it might be up my alley. Page 163. Great artwork too.
Yeah, that's good artwork.
Okay. Dan Abnett.
Dan Abnett.
Vampirella versus Red Sonja #1.
Wow.
I'll describe it for you. It's Vampirella versus. That's it. Like, we don't even need any text to go with that at all.
Pretty high concept, yeah.
Indeed. Page 169 for that one. Alessandro Rinaldi on the artwork for it.
All right. Another go
Heard.
around for the
There you go.
Charlton classic Peter Cannon Thunderbolt. He was a denizen of the DCU for all too short a time. Dynamite's had him for a few years. Now we've got a new series written by Fred Van Lente, a creator we already know and love. Art by Jonathan Lau, who is a CGS listener. And it's Peter Cannon. I love the character, so I'm definitely going to be buying this.
Excellent. Yep. 173 for that. And yeah, the artwork looks great. Such old school superhero action portrayed there on the page.
Merbus, did Wally Wood create that character?
No, it
No?
was a guy
Okay.
named Peter A. Morisi.
Okay.
I believe was a police officer who
Okay.
moonlighted as a comic book creator.
Nice. And then there's a oversized hardcover of Peter Cannon Thunderbolt on 175 from
Kieran Gillen. Yeah.
on the character with Casper Wingard.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I liked what Gillen did with the character well enough, but I'm sure I'm going to like Van Lente's take even more because he's going back to basics.
Now, I want to ask you guys, when I saw this, is this the same Catman we know and love from DC?
Definitely not.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. All right.
Totally different character. This is a golden age character that has slipped into public domain.
Okay, gotcha.
Published in the 40s. It's kind of a Batman and Robin knockoff. Let's put it where it's at.
And I was going to say, you can tell that it's not the same Catman because just like the very distinctive Spider Dash Man, this
yes, I
is
see.
Cat Dash Man, not Catman. So yeah,
Catman and Kitten. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Jeff Parker writing.
Yep. I'm totally going to buy this too. 48-page one shot. Minimal commitment, and I'm sure it's going to be a rollicking good time.
Absolutely. Yep. All right, scrolling down past the Garbage Pail Kids.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's anything note here, and I think that's it for Dynamite personally.
Oh, I read the first issue of 007. Superb.
Yes.
They continue to do great work with the James Bond property.
We have a new assignment, Steal the Unstealable, on page 194. And just checking one last time here. Yeah, that's about it. We're all Vampirella and whatnot. And we're at Aftershock, so that means we are at Marvel. Okay. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yep.
We are at a brand new era here with the Fantastic Four.
Look at the gift for Levinstein.
And boy, oh boy, oh boy. We had in a previous era with X-treme X-Men. We'll get into that. But first, Avengers Assemble Alpha, written by the one and only Jason Aaron, drawn by the one and only Brian Hitch.
Yeah.
Returning to Avengers, I think since the Ultimates. Because I'm trying to think if this is the first time he's drawn Avengers characters outside of crossovers and what have you, outright since then. But this unites the Avengers Forever, and Avengers of 1000 BC in an epic saga that forms the capstone to Jason Aaron's era, meaning we are reaching its conclusion, and we'll see who takes over.
1 million BC, honey. 1 million.
1 million, you are correct. 1 million.
Much more exciting.
Way more exciting. You're right. What's more exciting than 1,000? 1 million. Yep.
Every time. Yep. 56 pages, and I hope Marvel has them all in hand.
Yes, indeed. I agree entirely. I still remember the fill-in at the last second on his Fantastic Four run, but Hitch has been very good about that over the past couple of years. So I think he's kind of righted that ship a little bit. And then the conclusion to Avengers Forever coming as well. The Pillars, the storyline that's been happening there in Avengers Forever 11, Jason Aaron and Jim Toe on page 2 there. And we conclude History's Mightiest Heroes in Avengers 62 on page 3. What a dark web we weave. Page 6. So they've been leading to this for a while. And I'm still not quite sure how I feel considering how excellent Zeb Wells' run with a grounded Spider-Man has been, that we're now going to evil Ben Reilly for the dark web. And I also don't know how I feel about evil dark Ben Reilly, for that matter, considering I like a not evil Ben Reilly.
If we're going to have any Ben Reilly at all, I would prefer he be non-evil, yes.
Yep, but this is supposedly going to be a crossover involving both wronged clones of the Marvel Universe, Ben Reilly and Madeline Pryor.
Maddie Pryor, wow.
Yep.
One of the most abused characters in Marvel Universe history.
Yeah, this is true.
Yes.
You could probably make a longer list of clones who've been screwed over in one way or another.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, those two would be at the top, sure.
As long as it's not Spider-Side, then I'm perfectly okay.
Maximum clonage.
Oh yeah. Zeb Wells and Michael Dowling and Kyle Hotz on the art chores here, with a cover by John Romita Jr., a variant cover by Alex Maleev included here as well. But this is the prelude to Dark Web, as Chasm returns for the first time since Free Comic Book Days issue and Amazing Spider-Man 894. Where are we going? Tune in and find out.
The Gold Goblin. Look at that writer.
Yep. Let me also mention before then the other writer that you love so much, Al Ewing, on Venom number 13 with Brian Hitch. So double duty for Brian Hitch this month. And yes, Gold Goblin, as previously stated.
So Cantwell exploring the psyche of Norman Osborn. In.
Yep.
That's it.
It's not easy being gold.
God, I missed you.
Gonna have to do a lot of soul searching before this thing hits the newsstands.
Oh yeah.
There's a point in my life when I would have bought this without thinking twice about it, but really, I agree with Chris that I respect the creative team here very much, but I just don't know if I want to read a comic about Norman Osborn flying around trying to be a good guy. I don't really want to read a comic about Norman Osborn being alive, period. So, it is Cantwell doing it, and
Bert, I'll be happy to give a field report.
Well, first off, remember, his sin was eaten by a sin eater, you see. So now he's perfectly clean. He has no sin anymore. That's how that works.
All I'll say is I like so far what Wells and Romita Jr. doing with that.
Yeah.
Admittedly silly concept in the current Spider-Man book. So
also if Norman Osborn hadn't come back, we wouldn't have gotten that incredibly awkward one page from, I think, what was it, Dark X-Men, of Norman Osborn looming as Namor takes a shower, which is forever burned.
All worthwhile.
Exactly, forever burned in my brain there. Yep. But here we are.
Wow.
Fantastic Four #1 by Ryan North and Iban Coelho on the artwork. A solo variant cover of Reed Richards that is outstanding.
That's right from that graphic novel we just talked about.
Yep, by Alex Ross, and a Thing cover by Art Adams. Whatever happened to the Fantastic Four?
They were written by Dan Slott for a few years.
Thank you very much, Mert. I'm glad you remembered. Something has gone terribly wrong in New York, and the Thing and Alicia are traveling across America to escape it. But when they stop in a small town for the night and wake up the morning before they arrived, they find themselves caught in a time loop.
Uh-oh.
Been going on since before they were born. That's been going on since before they were born. That's been going on. Dental plan. But yeah,
Lisa needs braces.
dental plan. Yeah, it's I love time loops, so you have me here. Not to mention it's Ryan North on Fantastic Four, so I want to see how that goes. And that cover there, ooh boy, yep, that's straight out of Alex Ross's Fantastic Four story he just did, basically, with the
full circle. Yeah,
looks like it. Yeah.
Excellent. Oh wow! Look at that Phil Noto variant cover. You want
Why
to?
does the thing have a pot on his head? That's what I want to know.
Well,
like the gladiator thing.
This is a little bit after that. This is like the Pacheco.
Oh, this is Heroes Reborn. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep. or like right before then. I remember when I think when Salvador Larroca was on Art Chores, they had those really really long 4s. Yep.
And there's some interior artwork on page 13, which is what matters most.
And it looks excellent.
It does at that.
Axe Judgment Day, Axe Body Spray Omega, Kieran Gillen and Yu Villanova on page, didn't give me a page, 14. The fallout of Judgment Day is felt. And that's all well and good, but how about instead Miracle Man by Gaiman and Buckingham, the silver, number 2 on page 15.
What else is there to be said?
Yep. I know what else can be said. Speaking of Deadpool, Deadpool number 1 by Alyssa Wong and Martin Kokolo, with what a variant cover by the one and only Rob Liefeld. He drew feet. He drew feet.
Low hanging fruit, my friend. Low hanging fruit.
Low hanging feet.
Magnificent.
Thank you.
God, the cornball. Holy mackerel.
Marvel's top merc is back in business as Alyssa Wong, who wrote Dr. Aphra and Iron Fist, is joined by Martin Kokolo from Banner of War, as we take out their pent-up aggression on everyone's pizza-faced, jabber-mouth, misguided, hate to love, love to hate fave, Deadpool.
Ian, who would you consider one of the best Deadpool writers when it comes to his wit and his dialogue?
That would be Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly? Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly the answer I would have given.
Second on that, I'd actually say Gail Simone, because Gail Simone had an excellent run on Deadpool, which then became Agent X, if I remember correctly.
It did. Yes,
Yeah.
was the pity.
Yep. I mean, was still good. It just wasn't. It wasn't Deadpool because it wasn't the character Deadpool, but still very, very good all around. My favorite part was when I think, what was it? Rhino was on a keychain.
Yes, I remember that.
And speaking of facsimile editions, this is a 90s facsimile edition of Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza's New Mutants number 98 on page 18, the first appearance of Deadpool. All right. Let's move it on down here to Doctor Strange
God.
Fall Sunrise.
Look at that. Wow.
Wow. This is some Doctor Strange the Oath level stuff right here.
Yes, look at that.
Yeah. Trad Moore on the writing and the artwork on this.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Murder's titillated.
That black light poster-worthy Silver Surfer Black miniseries a few years ago.
Yes. Yes. And now
Going full Yellow Submarine on this one, folks.
better believe it. Yep. And look at this variant cover on
the old 80s Marvel banner.
Yep. Love it. All right, scrolling down a bit more. Let's get to Planet Hulk Worldbreaker. Greg Pak returning to the world of Planet Hulk. And Manuel Garcia on the artwork. Millennium. 1,000 years from now on the planet Sakaar, a young woman with green skin searches for the legendary Green Scar to help save her brother from a group of apocalyptic cultists. But which Hulk will she find? Excellent question. As said, Greg Pak returning to Planet Hulk. I am all for that on page 26.
There it is for you, honey.
Page 28. X-treme. grab me my power thirst. Get things rolling here. Chris Claremont and Salvador Larroca, the very team returning for a 5-issue mini of X-treme X-Men. It's
set in the past too, after the original run. That's cool.
It is, yeah. Because honestly, where else would you set it?
Yeah,
because I don't think the X-treme X-Men would be able to fit in today's X-Men world. In any way, honestly, I mean, unless they were to somehow make them Krakoa based, which would be weird because they're all in different places right now. But Kitty Pryde gets a powerful psychic attack from her old enemy Ogun, which brings the X-treme team back together for a high stakes mission. What secret is Ogun hiding? And will even the combined mist of Bishop, Sage, Gambit, Rogue, Rachel Summers, Storm, and Wolverine be enough to stop his insidious?
And Ogun goes back to the classic 80s Wolverine and Kitty Pryde miniseries.
He does indeed.
Yeah.
And I see they basically switched out Rachel Summers and Psylocke, because Psylocke was an original member.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So she was. She died and almost immediately got better.
Exactly. That's when she got rid of the Crimson Dawn finally. The Crimson Dawn. What was the reason for the Crimson Dawn? Well, we wanted to give her some red on her face. That's about it.
That was the official explanation.
I mean, not official, but it's one of those many X-Men storylines that existed, and there was no follow-up to it whatsoever.
Oh, there's a lot of those, buddy.
Well, yeah, those were the Madureira days.
I've been cursed with the Crimson Dawn. We'll find out never. Now, how about this?
Murder World.
Yes. Murder World Avengers. Not the characters you normally expect to hear associated with Murder World, but Jim Zub and Ray Fox with Jethro Morales, as hundreds are killed every year in an elaborate secret tournament run by a sadistic man with nearly limitless resources at his fingertips. It's not an urban legend. It's not a myth. Murder World is real.
All that matters is that Arcade's in it. Come on.
Definitely. Yep. Page 30 for that one. And page 31, Sabretooth and the Exiles? Huh?
Looks like it doesn't involve parallel timelines.
It does not.
Is that Orphan Maker up there?
Yep, and Nanny.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Oh, Sabretooth takes his destiny into his own clawed hands. These are exiles from Krakoa. So that's how they're using the term exiles this time around. Yeah.
Some interesting casting choices here. The aforementioned Nanny and Orphan Maker. I think I see Necra.
Yeah, that's right, Mert.
Code down there in the lower left.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's Victor Laval and Leonard Kirk. Especially Leonard Kirk on the artwork. I'm intrigued, but when I see Exiles, I expect one thing, and this is certainly not what I expected. A 5-issue miniseries.
Yep, brand integrity has to count for something.
Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, guess what's back? For no particular reason. Secret Invasion, number 1 of 5.
Okay.
For no particular reason, except for the Disney Plus show.
Yeah.
Ryan North on the writing, Francesco Mobili on the artwork. The Skrulls are back. We repeat, the Skrulls are back. And this time, it's Samuel L. Fury on the case.
Yeah.
Page 31 for that 5-issue miniseries there.
One of the great Spider-Man villains.
Hobby's back.
Hobgoblin. Tremendous.
Wells and Ramita Jr. on Amazing Spider-Man.
When I was a kid in the 80s, the Hobgoblin was the Spider-Man villain.
Absolutely. Yep. And even better, it's glider versus glider here. Because we've got Spider-Man and the Spider Glider versus
right.
Hobgoblin. And issue 2 of Dan Slott's Spider-Man, The End of the Spider-Verse, rages on. As Shathra is back and more powerful than last time, she nearly killed Peter and Ezekiel. Last time, Peter tricked Shathra, and she's had plenty of time to plan his death and the death of all spiders. Page 35. Look at that great image of Miles and Peter playing basketball on page 36. Now, how about this?
Oh, I didn't realize J.M. DeMatteis was writing that. Okay.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Spider-Man: The Lost Hunt.
Page 38. Yep. The origins of Kraven finally revealed by J.M. DeMatteis and Idar Messias on the art chores. As J.M. DeMatteis continues to spin new webs within the past, this time partnered with Idar Messias, revealing secrets and answering mysteries Spidey fans have been waiting for. Prepare to explore the depths of what made Craven.
And interesting, this is in the time frame of the Spider-Man: The Final Adventure, when Peter thought he was the clone.
Correct.
And he and Mary Jane go off together.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, this is right after the Ben Reilly series that J.M. DeMatteis was working on, so he's sticking in that era right now, filling in the gaps, as it were. Yeah, interesting concept. Great to see Craven in any form, and an era that wasn't really that well explored back when he was powerless gets an extra wrinkle thrown in there, for that matter. Okay. Page 40, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. The World Mind is collecting data for the Xander Pavilion on Terra, and who knows Earth better than Peter Quill? This is essentially putting together the storyline of the ride at Epcot.
Okay.
Into a one shot here with Kevin Schnick and Gerardo Sandoval on that. Love the ride. Let's see how they convert that.
Oh, and let's not forget on page 41, Thanos Death Notes. It's a 40-page one-shot with some work by J. Michael Straczynski, Kyle Starks, and Christopher Cantwell on writing, Andrea DeVito, Ron Lim making his return to the Mad Titan, and more. It's just a little collection of short stories here about Thanos.
These are all previously collected, I assume. Because if it's not, it's the first time I've seen J. Michael Straczynski work for Marvel in quite some time.
Good point, Ian.
Yeah. They don't make that very...
It says an all-new Thanos one-shot.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, welcome back, J. Michael Straczynski, to Marvel for the first time in very, very long.
I'm looking forward to reading this.
Yeah.
Cantwell and Pasquale Ferry doing Namor. Oh.
Love it. Yep. Page 42 gives you issue 2 of 5 there. And issue 2 of Wakanda on the very next page, page 43.
Wakanda.
Page 45, Blade Vampire Nation. Mark Russell and Miko Suyan on a brand new Blade series.
I can't wait for this movie. I can't wait to see Mahershala Ali perform Blade. Ugh.
Looks like this is spinning out of Aaron's Avengers run.
Yeah.
The Vampire Nation story.
Yes. Captain America and the Winter Soldier special by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzig with artwork by the great Kev Walker on page 48. Solid work behind there. We get a...
Oh, here we go.
Yep, and Iron Man 25 is also Iron Man 650 on page 49. Look at those creators, baby. Cantwell, Busiek, and Murewa Ayodele. I'm trying to sound that out.
Did your best.
Thank you. Artwork by Tons. An oversized celebration of the Golden Avengers 650th issue.
It says here that Camel's concluding his run as the writer of Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And who is to take it over? That's the question, because they're gonna have to get somebody great to follow up.
Yeah.
Could it be Al Ewing? Maybe we'll see.
I wouldn't say no to that.
X-Men Legends as Ann Nocenti and Javier Pina continue their long shot betrayal, drama, action story on page 50. And let's see what else we got here. Yeah, most of the X-Men stuff is storyline. So I'll go straight to Black Panther Unconquered by Brian Edward Hill and Alberto Foce. It's a new reader-friendly one-shot. T'Challa faces a challenge unlike anything Wakanda has ever seen before in an all-new epic one-shot.
Ken Lashley cover.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All there on page 58. And
another facsimile edition.
Yep. Fantastic 452 right there. 52. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Great cover there for Ghost Rider. All right, scroll it down. Zdarsky continues his long Daredevil run. Issue 5 there. Jason Aaron's Punisher continuing as well. Guest starring Daredevil this month on 65.
Punisher Daredevil team ups are usually always great.
Love that cover of
That's a great She-Hulk A cover, yep.
For sure.
She-Hulk's new arch nemesis has finally shown their face. And in this issue, we'll pull back the curtain. Who are they? What do they want with She-Hulk? The answer to these questions will chill you to the bone.
Ian, how many episodes of the She-Hulk series going to be, the TV show?
I believe it's 8 or 9.
Okay, because I just watched the last one. I didn't think that was the end. So okay, that's good to know. All right,
it's definitely not. There's still more to come.
Good.
And issue 5 of Genis Vell Captain Marvel with Peter David and Juanan Ramirez, Till Death Do Us Part, on page 60.
Look at that Defenders cover, Murd. Ugh.
That is sharp.
The Final Trial of Loki, that 5th issue there. Whole lot of stuff wrapping up this month for Marvel. Thunderbolts issue 4 or 5. We got Hawkeye. We've got Hawkeye. It's Thunderbolts.
You know that in the previous episode, that when the founders were talking about Gesundheit Murd, we're talking about Thunderbolts. It just gave me a hankering to read the series again because that series was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, what a superb masterclass that series.
Yep.
Cross-gen.
Yes, Cross-gen Tales on page 73. Mark Waid, Ron Mars, and Barbara Kessel.
So they're reprinting the first issues of Ruse, Mystic, Sigil, and Sojourner, but not Scion, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. These are ones, I believe this is all part of keeping it in copyright.
Of course.
Is them, continuing to publish it. But at the same time, if demand is high enough, maybe we'll see a return to these in one form or another. You never know.
I love Scion. That was Ron Mars and Jim Chung.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So funny that we got Cross-gen and we have Wildstorm all in the same previews. This is what a time to be alive, gents. What a time to be alive. Yoda
gets his own book. Yep.
Page 76. Kevin Scott and Nico Leone behind that. All new adventures for the greatest Jedi of all time. I wish this was written in Yoda speak. And Charles Soule has a new miniseries, Star Wars Hidden Empire.
Focusing on the Crimson Dawn Syndicate and Kira.
A much more relevant Crimson Dawn. And page 79, Mark Guggenheim and Salvador Roca, Paco Medina, and more for Star Wars Revelations #1. They call this the can't-miss Star Wars issue of the year. After War of the Bounty Hunters came Crimson Reign. Now in the midst of Hidden Empire, Kira has shaken the galactic landscape to its core. But what lies beyond for the rebellion?
Once again, I just want to shout out how wonderfully a job I think Marvel's done with the Star Wars property since they got it back.
Agreed. Yep.
Pretty much everything. I haven't read everything they've done, but everything I've read, I've at least enjoyed or thought has been sublime. So it's been a lot of great stuff.
And as we pointed out before you came on the call, Chris, it's also nice to see Dark Horse back with the Star Wars license in one form or another.
Yes. Speaking of Dark Horse, I meant to ask Shane before I forgot before he left. Is Black Sad out again?
Didn't
he mention that's they're doing a new Black Sad story?
I wasn't that. I think that was last.
Okay, who's publishing? Because I couldn't find it.
I'll see if I can find it for you.
Yeah, let me know. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Humanoids is a good place to start.
Yes.
Thanks, Murd.
Yep.
It's a madhouse. Planet of the Apes. Oh. One of my favorite films. So this is an omnibus reprinting the classic Marvel series, which is 1 through 11, where if I remember correctly, according to background, they had to fudge the face so they didn't have the rights to Charlton Heston's likeness. But I really recommend, if you're a Planet of the Apes fan, for a deep dive, the black and white Marvel magazines of Planet of the Apes, which were completely far out, that Doug Monk and Mike Plug worked on. They were collected, I want to say, by Boom in our archive. They're great.
Okay. I highly recommend page 88 What If Into the Multiverse Omnibus Volume 1. And this collects...
this is the later What If, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, and
Yeah.
it also includes one of the issues that was on my top 5 for What Ifs and Elseworlds, as is on the cover there with the Ramos artwork from it, which is that what if the original team of the X-Men had never split up, basically. And this is all that later What If together in one package here, including What If number 1 from 1988. And then What If from 1989, issues 1 through 39, and Quasar number 30, which was a crossover into said series when they did their weird What If crossover issue. There was like a whole like cross multiverse caper thing going on.
The Watcher recruited Quasar to chase little bits of the living laser of all people that got scattered between different parallel universes, and so he had to just do that and play cleanup, and he ended up in, of all places, the new universe at the end of it.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, that takes me back.
Great questions asked in this, such as what if the alien costume possessed Spider-Man? What if the new X-Men died on their first mission? What if the Fantastic Four all had the same powers? Plus, Professor Xavier becomes the Juggernaut. Wolverine is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. That was one of the first issues of What If I ever read, and it was excellent. I'm pretty sure it even had Liefeld artwork, if I remember correctly. Daredevil kills the Kingpin, and the Punisher's family survives, and a whole bunch more. So if you're into What Ifs, these are all worth your time with some excellent creators involved.
Warlock.
Yep. Adam Warlock Omnibus, page 89.
Collecting the classic Starlin stories that came later on in the Bronze Age.
Yep. Well as some of the originals with Stan,
Roy Thomas, Gil Kane. Yep. Because originally he was the character Him.
That's
in
right.
Silver Age Fantastic Four, Lee and Kirby.
Yep.
And Warlock's going to be in the next Guardians of the Galaxy film, correct?
That is correct.
Yep. All right.
We haven't seen the footage yet, but there was some footage revealed at San Diego Comic-Con that will eventually be a trailer for us. I'm assuming it'll be attached to Black Panther and one more gets released. A new printing, first time this has been printed in a while, of the new X-Men Omnibus. Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely, Van Sciver, Lionel Francis Liu, Lionel Francis Yu, Igor Cordy, and tons of others, Phil Jimenez, Kieran Grant. That collects issues 114 to 154. What an omnibus of new X-Men, as well as annual number 1, which was printed horizontal, if I remember correctly, rather than vertical.
That's right. They're writing him. That's right. Yep.
And
that was a good series, Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, excellent series. Yep. This is the beginnings there with Peter David, Ben Robb, Tony Skinner, John Francis Moore, and others. However, this will not be on sale until April 2023, so very early solicit for this one.
I like the Star Wars Legends books because they reprint classic Dark Horse stories. I think in some cases, right? Yeah. Yes.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And even Star Wars 3D, which I think that was in Marvel at all, right, Murd? Do you remember that comic?
I don't actually.
I want to say Blackthorn.
I
could be wrong about that.
Some of those titles, the Star Wars Empire and
that
Star
was Dark
Wars
Horse. Yeah.
Quest. Those, yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yep. And then, of course, the Marvel Masterworks line continues with Claremont and Stern era Uncanny X-Men with Tom DeFalco and Jim Shooter, penciled by Silvestri, Alan Davis, Kerry Gamble, Rick Leonardi, Keith Pollard, and Marshall Rogers.
This is the Fall of the Mutants and the X-Men Australian team. All great stuff from the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Yep. All in that gorgeous Marvel Masterworks format. They even have Marvel Masterworks Dazzler Volume 4 in that same.
I always did a good Dazzler story.
All right. Anything else here, gents? Oh, yes. One more. Page 99, Ant-Man Antiversary. Al Ewing with Stan Lee and Larry
The
Lee.
first issue was great.
This is going to be all 4 of them in
Yep.
one package, as well as Tales to Astonish number 37 and 43, all in a trade paperback here on page 99. And then Peter David's New Fantastic Four, Hell in a Handbasket, right underneath that on page 100. All right. Head back to the...
I'm going to pick up that Obi-Wan book. I totally missed that Camel was doing an Obi-Wan miniseries. Completely missed it. So getting that trade.
Yep, little vignettes from throughout Obi-Wan's personal timeline, from childhood to just before, his fateful mission to Alderaan with Luke.
Page 105.
Excellent. All right, gents. Well, you know what? One more. Page 109. I mentioned the first 2 issues. X-Men 92, House of XCII, House of 92 trade paperback. Steve Fox and Salva Espin. Collects all.
That 90s chair was huge. Holy mackerel.
Ginormous, baby. Just about as ginormous as that green suit and that purple tie.
Yep.
All right, let's head over to the main book for the back of the book. Try to be brief as possible with this one here. Starting off with Aftershock, as Marguerite Bennett has a new book, Animosity. This is the volume 1 of that, The Wake. Collects the first 4 issues of that. So any of you Marguerite Bennett fans will want to check out something a little bit more horror-based than Monstrous on page 210. And Mark Sable's Fear of a Red Planet. Mars, 50 years from now, humanity's first Martian colony is no longer self-sustaining. Under the thumb of its corporate mining overlords, surviving colonists slave away just to pay for resupply rockets from Earth, with little to no help of returning home. And one woman has kept a fragile peace, the UN's first and only interplanetary marshal. As things fall apart, you get to see what that is like here on page 212 for Fear of a Red Planet by Mark Sable and Andrea Olimpieri.
Aftershock always has interesting stuff.
Yep.
I haven't tried anything close to any other than they've done, but the few things I have tried, I've enjoyed.
Chicken Devils Volume 2 issue page 218. I mentioned Chicken Devils on the last previews. That is just crazy stuff right there. Yeah, you're right. They've become one of the premier. Wow, and Titan way earlier in the book than they used to.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yep.
Okay, all right. Adam the Beginning by Osamu Tezuka, Volume 3, if you've been following that, on page 229. First 2 volumes are still available for order as well, so check that out. I never know what I'm going to get now from previews because it's different layout every single time.
Yep.
And page 236, the unofficial Zelda cookbook. Over 50 delicious recipes from across the kingdom of Hyrule. What else could you possibly ask for right there? Diebold Villanova on the writing chores of this hardcover Zelda cookbook on 236. How about Mark Russell's Traveling to Mars on 238? Wow,
Great cover.
Yeah, a lot of Mars this month.
Yeah.
A lot of Mars. Mark Russell has a new sci-fi series. Traveling to Mars tells the story of former pet store manager Roy Livingston, the first human to ever set foot on Mars. Roy was chosen for this unlikely mission for one simple reason. He's terminally ill and therefore has no expectation of returning. Good reason. He's joined on his mission to Mars by Leopold and Albert, 2 Mars rovers, who look upon the dying pet store manager as a sort of god. Against the backdrop of not only his waning days, but those of human civilization as well, Roy has ample time to think about where things went wrong for both of them and what it means to be a dying god.
Such a soft spot for you, honey, a pet store owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my father has had a dog grooming shop for quite some time, and yeah, this is a cool concept here. Very, very different Mars story than the one previously mentioned on page 238. You can easily see that being a movie adaptation at some point, just from the description. All right, let's move on to Els, Volume 1, The New Girl, page 246. Kid Toussaint and Evelyn Stockart. They've created an amazing young adult story that wonderfully captures the broad range of emotions experienced by teens and the difficulty that comes with navigating those feelings. Nice all ages book here. Els, Volume 1, The New Girl, on page 246. Great artwork, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very expressive and animated. Scrolling down on page 253, out of FMP, well, Frank Miller Presents, of course, Ronin Book 2.
Yeah, this struck my interest because I love the original Ronin. I haven't read it in a long time, but
Had no idea this was coming. Frank Miller on the writing, Philip Tan on the artwork, with Daniel Henriquez. Yeah, 6-part miniseries. Follows the original work and takes Casey and her newborn son across the ravaged landscape of America. Been a long time coming for this one on 253. Then Dan DiDio and Danilo Beyruth give us Ancient Enemies. Once again, under the FMP Frank Miller Presents banner here. As Earth becomes the final battlefield for a centuries-old war between two alien races. This final conflict becomes the unintentional breeding ground for a new generation of superpowers, each with the ability to influence the outcome of the war. DiDio, as first issues go, this one is not to be missed according to the flavor text here. 64 pages for a first issue, not bad at all. And yeah, let's see what DiDio can do here with his own property on page 255. I also know some people who would really want those AEW figures. Well, you
talk about Parker Girls in our next comic talk.
Yes, indeed.
The master continues.
Over at Ahoy, let's go to a new Mark Russell and Steve Pugh story on 262, Billionaire Island, Cult of Dogs. The long-awaited return of the series that's simultaneously infuriating and hysterically funny in its indictment of not just the 1%, but of the people and the economic system that enable them. That's what Comics Beat called it. The year's 2046, 2 years after Billionaire Island fell, taking the world's economy with it. Only one man, or dog, can save us now. But where is Business Dog? Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I just love anything with a dog at this point.
And for a little more Mark Russell, also from Ahoy on that same page, My Bad Volume 2. Another 5-issue miniseries of superhero satire from the mind of Mark Russell, with art by Peter Krause.
Nice.
Yep, alumnus of The Power of Shazam.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay. Let's head down a bit more here. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Page 271 there under Archie. It's another older character revival.
Wow.
Under Dynamite, we had Peter Cannon and Catman. Now Archie's bringing back Bob Phantom. And why not? Script by James III. Okay. Of Scotland? I don't know.
Art. Do you think it's maybe James Tinian III and they forgot the Tinian?
That could be.
I guess.
Yeah.
The art is by Richard Ortiz, though. That's less ambiguous. And it's just it's a neo-noir one-shot about this classic old MLJ character with the somewhat eccentric name.
Nice.
He calls himself Bob, but his real name is Walter.
And Kyle Rayner called. He wants his crab mask back.
Wow.
Yeah. Great alternate cover there by Jamal too. Cover.
Oh, yep, which is exactly the cover I'm going to order.
Excellent.
Murdath spoketh.
Ghosting no more. The scourge of the underworld returns. Love it. All right, let's move down further here. Ah, yes. Fearless Dawn Swimsuit Edition, one shot, page 274. You know who you are if you're going to buy it. Then I'll just leave it at that.
That's it.
Nothing like some good cheesecake. Jeremy Holt, Gatsby #1 of 8 on page 280. When middle-class Singaporean student Lu Zhao is invited to spend a summer on Long Island with his rich cousin Tommy before attending Columbia University in the fall, his assimilation into the opulent American lifestyle straps into a collision course fueled by designer drugs, sex, deceit, and murder. Set in present-day Long Island, Gatsby reimagines F. Scott Fitzgerald's classic novel as an LGBTQ-tinged multicultural thriller for the internet age. Interesting premise.
Very interesting, yeah.
Felipe Cunha on the illustrations for that as well. We get a quick taste of what the artwork looks like, and it looks pretty cool.
Sure does.
Once again, an 8-issue mini on that one. Volume 2 of Devil's Highway by Benjamin Percy and the one and only Brent Schoonover, solicited on page 281. Longtime friend of the show, Brent Schoonover, on the second volume here of Devil's Highway. Brent has the pleasure of designing a whole bunch of beer bottles over the past couple of years. I wish I had access to the brewery in the Minnesota area he's been designing them for, because they all look awesome. From the Static, on page 284, a horror anthology of 17 individual stories exploring the theme of horror from many different angles. If you're into anthologies, this might be for you on page 284. Like that amount of creators. Page 286. Gangsta ass barista. I just really wanted to say that. Pat Shand on the writing, Renzo Rodriguez on the artwork. A coffee-fueled crime comedy from Pat Shand, all about Trinity, who used to live a life of crime, but now she's left behind her old life and works at a coffee shop. Unfortunately, making ends meet isn't easy to do with a minimum wage job. And crime comes a-calling from there. 286. Gangsta ass barista. All right. Mentioning Endangered here. 288. Humanity has become an endangered species after nuclear war. Survival of our species rests with a group of scientists aboard a low-orbiting space station. Their solution to stabilizing their uninhabitable home is unknowingly facilitated the evolution of insects that survived the fallout. Now the time has come for mankind to return home, but their fight for survival is just beginning. Joe McCarthy and Ron Joseph.
Like a modern version of the 50s classic Them.
Great point. Yes. On page 288 for that one. Knights of the Fifth Dimension, Volume 1. Spotlight on this one. Page 290. William the Wizard Gardner, who is in no way a Jack Kirby riff, is a reclusive comic book creator and artist who's been the sole voice of the legendary psychedelic Knights of the Fifth Dimension for decades, inspiring creativity in man in order to combat Vanta Black's spread of self-doubt, despair, and hopelessness in our world. William grows old and tired, and his once revered comic book series is now relegated to flea markets and bargain bins across the world. Years ago, William enlisted the help of up-and-coming writer-artist Kurt the Great One Giddy to carry on the Knight's legacy. But a disillusioned Kurt turns to fame and drugs, becoming an industry pariah. After years of silence, William needs Kurt's help again, this time to continue William's legacy and join the long line of dreamers and artists who have kept Fanta Black from seeping into our dimension for generations? What?
That's an oddly placed question mark, yes.
Yeah. But at the same time, came out of nowhere and wasn't expecting that to be real. So, yeah, Knights of the Fifth Dimension, very interesting take on comic book creating.
Really, this sounds really interesting. Yeah.
I'm completely game for that one, and this collects the first volume of the series here on page 290. I think I remember mentioning it when it was in singles at one point.
I think I remember you doing that too.
Yep. But happy to see it collected here. Sherlock Holmes: The Case of the Missing Martian. Those are words also that I didn't expect to put on page 296. Doug Murray and Topper.
Looks like it's tied into War of the Worlds.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, based on the works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and H.G. Wells.
That's cool.
Sherlock Holmes is called out of retirement in London in 1908 to solve a baffling mystery. The British Museum is missing a perfect specimen of a Martian from the failed invasion of 1899. Wow. Okay. Doug Murray, good job on that story there. 296. Gentlemen, if either of you have anything to call out, by all means. Otherwise, I shall continue to scroll until I find something yummy. All right. Page 305, The Unwanted, James Macia and Miguel Angel Hernandez. About a group of teens who are abducted and brought to a secluded tropical island with no explanation, no supplies, and no way off. Left to their own devices and forced to find a way to survive, they soon discover they aren't alone, and their fellow inhabitants are hostile. Unwanted #1 on page 305. Like island action. That's for you.
Or if you're a fan of Lord of the Flies and stories like that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay. Yes.
From Fantagraphics.
Mm-hmm.
Little something here on the page, top of page 315. If you're a Hitchcock fan, Sir Alfred #3 by Tim Hensley, which is apparently the first issue. There has not been a first or second. But it's like a little autobiographical comic about Sir Alfred Hitchcock. Because apparently, behind the scenes, he was, quote, miserable, dangerous, mean, insensitive, obsessed, mad, and often screaming with laughter and or dread. So here, cartoonist Tim Hensley gives us, his look at the man in kind of a retro 50s cartooning style.
Nice. Good evening.
Uncle Scrooge, The Diamond Jubilee Collection by Carl Barks. Wow.
Have to call that one out, definitely. 384 pages of Uncle Scrooge comics there. All for...
Looks like a beautiful edition.
Oh,
wow.
yeah. $100, well worth it, and I'm sure you can get it discounted wherever you may buy your books on page 315.
And on page 316, for you Peanuts fans, Fantagraphics wraps up its reprint series of Peanuts Every Sunday with the final 5 years' worth of Peanuts Sunday newspaper strips, from 1996 to 2000, all in living color as they've never been collected before.
Amazing. Wow. They've been doing that for quite some time.
Yes, they have.
Yep. And they have a Peanuts Every Sunday 1990s gift box set on that same page there. 2-volume set collecting the 90s. Toy Robot Magazine. Just want to point that out for any of you fans of Transformers or what have you, that there is that Fenrir Publications puts out Toy Robot Magazine, and it's up to issue 7.
Got our first, second books. We have two very interesting biographical graphic novels. Axel Czar, The Life and Lives of Vladimir Putin. She's one of the most important people on the planet right now. And Einstein.
Mhm.
It looks really interesting.
Jim Ottaviani and Gerald Dye are the creators behind that Einstein one. Yep. That's all on page 318. And any fan of Chuck Dixon, Hunter Ninja Bear gets a graphic novel there. So Chuck
I haven't
Dixon,
seen Chuck Dixon's name in a while.
yeah, he's been hiding behind between the pages.
Mm.
He comes out with stuff on occasion.
Artwork there is by Mel Ruby, who I remember from a brief run he had on Doctor Strange back in the 90s.
Ah, Murd, great callback.
Okay.
Just seeing the one elicitation, just how Pans talked about. I was now watching Dark Shadows. He's gonna be watching that for quite some time. That was a long soap opera.
Nope. Yeah, that is a lot of content to work through.
So on page 332, since we mentioned a whole bunch more Mark Russell, let's mention some more.
God, he's all over this book. Wow.
Mark Russell with Yannick Paquette on a Jodorowsky and Morbius presents the Incal Psychoverse. This is set to be a major motion picture, apparently, but Taika Waititi is the man behind it. Yes, I remember mentioning that when we were discussing Taika's upcoming works that he was working on a Jodorowsky. This is going to be what he's working on, and this is a new prequel to the legendary and best-selling Incal series by Mark Russell and Yannick Paquette.
I've never read Incal.
And what a creative team to be behind the prequel. Yannick's artwork is superb.
Oh yeah, look at that. That's on page 333. That's beautiful. Oof, gorgeous artwork. Wow.
Absolutely. Yep. And then the deluxe Incal is on that on the very next set of pages out of Humanoids on page 337. So if you're looking to buy it, there it is in deluxe form. Jodorowsky and one and only Mobius. And man, nobody drew like Mobius.
No, they didn't.
Oh, we're in IDW, aren't we? Yes, we are. Okay. Always catches me by surprise.
Yeah, because they were banished.
Yeah. Also, it's a little less so now, but I'm still disappointed by how many of these covers are coming soon out of IDW. It takes away from the solicitation.
I noticed G.I. Joe Real American Heroes hitting issue 300. Larry Hama is still writing that book.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And if memory serves, that will be going to a new publisher eventually. I'm not sure when that expires, but hopefully they will continue with Larry Hama when that does occur. And I'll point out again, Star Trek #2 on page 346. Once again, they do not have a cover for it, but Colin Kelly and Jackson Lanzig with a time-spanning team of Star Trek characters, essentially, all banding together. Here, yeah, Star Trek #2, 346. That was about it for them. Kevin Miller has the Recall graphic novel, or Recall, depending on how you say it. Couple finds themselves pursued by mysterious lights in the sky along a remote highway. Is their pursuit a dream or something more sinister? Inspired by the Betty and Barney Hill abduction, first widely publicized alien abduction in the United States, Recall is a graphic novel about race, romance, and fear.
I like that cover.
Yeah, great cover. It's once again on page 348. Okay. Nature's Labyrinth, Zach Thompson, on page 353. In the middle of the ocean lies a remote island complex lined with traps and ever-changing landscape. Created by a mysterious man known only as Ahab, the island was designed to test the wills of the world's most notorious criminals. In a battle royale set style game, 8 violent felons will fight for survival and to the death over the course of 3 days of relentless action. You had me at battle royale and criminals. Sounds awesome. Zach Thompson and Bailey Underwood. Nature's Labyrinth #1 on page 353. Keep on scrolling here. No new news on Oni, by the way. If and when I do hear anything
I was
on
going to ask you about that. Yeah.
fate of Oni, I will let you guys know. But in the meantime, Lucky Penny Color Edition on page 362. Any of you who are fans of Lucky Penny, you get it in beautiful color now by Anath Hirsch and Yuko Ota on page 362. Bill and Ted's Day of the Dead one-shot. It's on page 370 with a wonderful George Carlin.
The great one.
Yes. Josh Trujillo and John Barber on the writing. Gary Gastoni and Wayne Nichols on the artwork. A special one-shot written by Josh Trujillo of Rick and Morty fame and Indonesian sensation Gary Gastoni. They stumble into a Day of the Dead celebration, sending visions of sugar skulls dancing through their heads. Excellent. Thank you. All right. If there's anything before tomorrow's, I will point it out. Otherwise, I am heading to tomorrow's.
Very excited about one thing tomorrow. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, no, please. I found that one thing. Page 382. Impossible Jones, Naughty or Nice by the one and
Carl Kiesel, Carl Kiesel.
Yep, I already picked this one up when it was kickstarted, but I'm glad that Scout Comics is making it available to the masses.
Indeed. Yep. Him and David Hahn putting out a special holiday special of Impossible Jones titled Naughty or Nice.
Looks like a take on the question.
Yep, that character is called Even Steven, and he is Ditkolicious.
Or Mr. A, yeah. Interesting.
Nice. Ditkolicious. Let's call him.
Murd again.
Sorry, Zach, I've already copyrighted that.
Fantastic.
All right, let's head on down. Oh, wait. It came from nowhere. Page 388. Christina Blanche and Alex Bonick.
Beautiful cover.
Mysterio, the Spectral Servant. And you're right. Beautiful cover indeed. So it caught my eye immediately. All about Conrad McDowell, who keeps encountering supernatural occurrences after moving into his family home, Warwick Manor. Your family home is called Warwick Manor. Of course, there's going to be supernatural. He invites his friends, world-renowned mystics, to see if they can help his soul pass to the other side. Join them as the manor, as they are use their mystic arts to try to deduce their first mystery. Who was the killer? That's all on page 388. Mysterium, the Spectral Servant. And Hope Volume 1 by Dirk Manning and K. Wynn Smith. 6 issues of Hope, all collected in one package here on page 392. Back in print in a new special edition collection. And with that, I will scroll my butt down to...
Scrolls his butt down.
Tomorrow's.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Top of page 399. Chris won't want to miss this.
Oh, you're right. Yes. You're very right.
So I've talked about this book before. That's Sarah by Garth Ennis and Steve Epting. What a team. It's following, again, it's another one of Ennis's great military history comics focusing on the Second World War, specifically the Eastern Front, which was just a titanic struggle. It is actually, that's the largest, probably the biggest war ever fought within not just World War II, but in any conflict, basically. And he's following, the Soviet Union was the only army that had women at the front lines. in this case as snipers. And again, the historical detail, the authenticity, the research, but Epting's art is just breathtaking in this book. So if you're interested in great military history comics, I highly recommend Sarah.
And as a note, there are Nazis involved, not available in Germany. Just do keep that in mind. Yes. Page 399 for that one. All right.
Thanks, Murd.
I aim to please.
Holly Jolly. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Look at that, Murd.
Yep.
Celebrating Christmas past and pop culture hardcover.
Yep. It's a lovely coffee table book about classic Christmas kitsch. And thanks to our friend and insider at Tomorrow's, Eric Nolan Withington, I have a copy to call my very own.
Perfect.
That makes me happy.
Perfect.
Me too.
The American Comic Book Chronicles, just a reissue. All these books I've mentioned many times over the years are magnificent. They're in depth. In depth, I emphasize, histories of different eras of comic book publication, in this case 1965 to 69, but they put everything in the context of what's going on in our country at that time, the popular culture, the politics, just the general zeitgeist. Illustrations are abundant and lavish. They're beautiful books. Any serious comic book history student for comic book history, you should get all of them.
And right on top of that, back issue 141.
Nick Fury and Shield. I already ordered it.
I'm sure you did, sir. I'm sure you did.
Yep.
Spies and PIs, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. All there for you on page 40.
Very excited by Jack Kirby's Dingbat Love hardcover. So these are the final complete unpublished Jack Kirby stories in existence. Presented here for the first time. I've heard of these, but I've never read them. So you got the 2 unused Dingbats of Danger Street Tales of Kirby's Last Kid Gang, which Murd has always been a student of. True Life Divorce, the abandoned newsstand magazine that was too hot for its time. Reproduced from Jack's pencil art. And Soul Love. The unseen 70s romance book, so funky, even a jive turkey will dig the unretouched inks by Vince Collette and Tony DeZuniga. So I'm definitely ordering this. That's the last great unpublished Kirby stuff. Wow, that's exciting. Tomorrow's again.
Indeed. And
Macro Boy, one of the great Golden Age cover artists when it came to the Marvel family. And any student of the Golden Age is a book you might be interested in.
Yep. On that same page 402, Dice Men, the origin story of Game Workshop. It's a hardcover by Ian Livingstone, not Ian Levinstein, and Steve Jackson. It's been a hard week for Ian's, by the way, with Hurricane Ian hitting. I keep hearing jokes from everybody. Games Workshop is best known for creating Warhammer, but their story and their origins are full of nerd-tastic lore and legendary moments, from launching Dungeons and Dragons in the back of their van and then securing rights to sell it through the whole of Europe, to creating the Fighting Fantasy series. Co-founders Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson tell their remarkable story for the first time in Dice Men. This is fascinating stuff here.
Yeah.
And all in geek lore, finally presented to you.
Wait a minute. Ian, because I'm not well versed in this. Who was Gary Gygax then when it came to creating Dungeons and Dragons?
Gary Gygax created Dungeons and Dragons. It's Games Workshop that actually spread it throughout.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They were the ones who originally launched it from his initial inception, basically.
Gotcha. Well, I think it's appropriate, Leveroux, that people are besieging you with bad jokes. So one might say that there's some sort of glorious karma going on there. Magnificent.
Yes. Paybacks a bitch. Let's put it that way. Page 402. But in all seriousness, though, anybody dealing with Hurricane Ian, may you all be safe and that everyone make it out of there. It's been a week. All right. Exo Man of War on Concord, Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, art by Liam Sharp on this new Exo Man of War series on page 405. Always nice to see Becky Cloonan's name.
Yeah, she's very talented.
Associated with Liam Sharp. That makes it even cooler.
Yep.
All right. Anything else before manga, gents?
Oh, I'm good. Murd?
Right there. You just we're
Excellent.
going past it right now on pages 412 and 413, coming out from Vault Comics, a new Cullen Bunn concept with art by Sally Cantorino, Door to Door, Night by Night, about a heroic squad of traveling salesmen who travel from town to town, battling the forces of darkness wherever they find them in small town America.
Nice.
The Heritage Mills sales team.
As Patton Oswalt puts it, every goddamn book Vault Comics puts out is a must-read. They're the A24 of indie comics.
Now, Vault does the Blue Flame, right?
Yes, they
Yeah,
did.
I got to get that trade because I only read the first issue of that and it was wonderful.
You really do, Chris. You
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
This seems like a really cool premise here.
I love that cover.
Forward. Yep.
And
All right.
actually, Levy Poo, after Manga, I have actually some T-shirts to shout out this month.
What? All right.
Yeah.
Get there. We'll get there. All right. Terrific. Let's head over to Manga now. And when we do, you know what? Actually, what is this Ninja Funk that I seem to be passing? Ah, yes. Okay. Ninja Funk #1 by JPG and Steve Schuett out of Whatnot Publishing. They're one of the newcomers. Laser Wolf, a frequency bender on a mission, alongside JPG McFly, a robot just in it for the good times. What names? And a powerful but lazy feline Wolfgang form Ninja Funk, a team of unlikely heroes determined to restore the universe through true harmony. When those in power realize their plan to enlighten the world goes against the status quo and threaten their hold on the masses, will they join the movement or condemn the universe to its demise? Fun, high-stakes action here. And a cover by David Mack, for that matter, on page 423 here for Ninja Funk. And you got a quote from Kevin Eastman on this one, and a cover for that matter. So yeah, this has some major vibes behind it, Ninja Funk. I'm willing to check that one out for sure. All right, now we go to manga.
What's your pick this month, honey?
Well, first off, Mob Psycho, thank you very much. Let's head over to right out of the gate. Viz Media, on page 445, gives us Blue Box. It's a badminton guy falls for a basketball girl. Do these sports cross lovers have a chance? We'll have to find out here. Not often where you see a book about badminton and basketball, but you got one here with Blue Box. It's
just another example of how the Japanese can make any topic into a comic book.
You're damn right. Shonen Jump's latest feel-good romantic comedy by Koji Miura. Volume 1 there for you on page 445. We'll find at least one more, and then we'll call it a day. The Boxer by J.H. This is from Yen Press on page 453. He doesn't have the same hunger for superiority that drives every human being. The enigmatic Yu lives his life without joy or purpose. All aspects of the young man are a mystery to those around him, save for his superhuman athletic abilities. Yu has rhythm, grace, and power on the level of the top pound-for-pound fighters, and his potential is too much for the legendary Coach K to ignore. Taking the young prodigy under his wing, the two shock the world of boxing fight by fight, as Coach K attempts to make Yu the greatest of all time. What exactly compels Yu to keep entering the ring? A Rocky-esque tale here on page 453. The Boxer, Volume 1 by J.H.
Would you mind going to page 480, please, my friend?
But of course, sir.
Every once in a while, I like to call out some T-shirts. And Mad Engine has quite a few in this month's edition of previews. And some of them I think are really, really sharp.
There we are.
So you got some great T-shirts like from Marvel Art. So the Star Wars Duel, the comic fight, those are great shirts. I like the color Pop Force is really sharp. There's some really fun Star Wars T-shirts if you're into that in this book. And on page 481, great Avengers retro Avengers team shirt in primary colors. You've got X-Men Nike X-Men 90s white t-shirt, Ian, for you. A Kirby, actually, I'm sure if it's Kirby, but a Thor Tower card shirt, and that Doctor Strange t-shirt. I'm probably going to pick that up on page 481. So, and then to go really into nostalgia, on page 482, they've got Vision of the Scarlet Witch and Secret Wars t-shirts.
Wow. Wow.
Very so.
That is something else right there.
Yeah, I just thought I'd just shout those others. Thought it was fun.
All right. Any toys? Otherwise, bolt shot.
I'm barely hanging on, brother, and your voice is getting ragged.
Yep.
And Murd has done
one.
like glorious work here. Go ahead, Murd. I'm sorry.
Page 33.
Oh, page 3 to page
Yep, you see, I did have one.
Okay, excellent. Let me bring it back.
Just to give you a glimpse of the most gratuitous automobile toy tie-in since the Supermobile. As we scroll past these images.
God. Oh, wow.
33, right?
Yep, in the swag side.
Here we go. 90, 30. Oh, wow. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Page 30. Batman 66, Burt Ward is Robin, 1/4 scale figure. I just have to point that out right there. That is.
You got those stockings down.
And alive.
Foot tall.
Yep. And here we go. 33. Gotcha.
Wow, Murd.
It's the
pick.
Doctor Strange mobile.
Good pick.
Yes.
With a costly Corvette of Calfac. This is a must-buy.
Oh, what a great way to end it, Murd.
Oh my God. And then on the other side of that page, by the way, the
There
Apocalypse.
for you, Ian. That 90s retro.
Yep. Love it.
And there was something you were scrolling past on our way to that point, Ian. This is back in the front of the book. I'm not sure what this is meant to promote, but it's gold. Page 485, we have several pages of comics featuring original characters that are going to be featured in something called Bad Idea.
Yeah.
It's written by Mark Waid and with art by 100 Bullets David Lapham.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, we totally missed this. Great way to go, Murd.
This is actual comics content, and it's actually pretty funny stuff.
Yeah. Wow. Huh.
Totally missed this.
So
Murd,
if you
well
didn't
done.
make it that far back in the book, do yourself a favor, go back and give it a read.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well done. Well done. All right. Terrific. Well, again, yeah. Thank you, Murd, for sticking with us.
Yeah, with your voice, the condition it's in, Murd.
It's getting a little rough.
Yeah, glorious service.
All right. Excellent.
By
Well,
all for the cause.
yes, you better believe it. And glad to get a previews out there. This is going to be, I mean, you've heard it already, but this is a mostly unedited episode of previews. There really weren't that many pauses this time around because we had enough people. So I'm literally putting out that as is so we can all have at least 3 days to put our orders in at this end of the month situation here. But Chris, glad you could join us for a little bit of it, sir. Always
You bet, brother.
excellent. All right, Murd, a quick reminder of our sponsor.
Our sponsor was our good friend Dr. Eamon Clark and his podcast, the Mega City Book Club, as well as his other podcast, A Handful of Dust, conducted with his daughter Jenny, which is all about Neil Gaiman's Sandman and attendant media. Check them out wherever you download your podcasts or go to handfulofdust.blogspot.com.
Excellent. And once again, a reminder that you, the listeners, at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak really do help this show.
Yes, much obliged.
And we thank you so much for your continued support along the way for that as well. So patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. And Murd, I will take the Shane duties tonight as your voice is struggling there. So I will very much make that magic happen here with the end credits and hope that I say everything. And if I don't, then so it goes.
And so it goes.
Once again, our website is comicgeekspeak.com. You can send us an email at comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. To leave a voicemail, the number is 267-702-6642. Please make sure to send in your Muddle the Murd submissions if you have not already done so. And make sure to put Muddle the Murd in the title line there at comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. Facebook.com/comicgeekspeak for the Facebook. And go ahead and check us out at the Comic Geekspeak supergroup as well. Twitter.com/comicgeekspeak on the Twitters. And youtube.com/comicgeekspeak over on the YouTubes. I'd like to thank you so much for supporting us over the years. We really do appreciate it and could not do it without your help. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time. Hey, look, it's Catman and Kitten.